Schaefer. Happer and Schaefer. It's Happer and
All right, good morning and welcome in. Happy Monday. It is Happer and Schaefer here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. I am Connor Happer alongside Mike Schaefer and Joey Warcola, the three amigos, the new three amigos, I suppose. Hi, guys.
Good morning, gents.
Good morning.
Let's crack-a-lackin'. How was the weekend?
Pretty solid. Not
Pretty
a whole
solid.
lot. Not a whole lot going on.
All right, nice. Nothing.
I was
Shafe?
in Columbus, 20-year reunion.
Whoa,
Last reunion.
old
So,
ass.
Yeah. It's it happens for everybody.
We got
We're not-
old man Schaefer over here.
Yep.
20 years since high
it's
school.
remarkable. Things are slightly different since 2006.
What?
For one, Matt McMaster is now 25 and not 5.
That is
24
true.
and not 4. Which is it?
I don't know. I can never remember.
I can't either.
Yeah, it's
It's enough down there.
it's a
that
low number. Yeah.
Right.
Single digits.
Uh-huh. What else is
Uh,
different from 2006?
The price of everything.
Okay.
Roughly. Well, there's also a big difference between people that I graduated and people that showed up for the reunion. About
Wait, some people who didn't graduate showed up?
well, yes, but also then lots of people who did graduate did not. So
Wow.
it's
Now that's not
setting any
surprising.
attendance records. We ran into some people that it was their 50-year reunion, so that'd be what, 76?
Whoa.
And they had over 125 people that were like signed up for their event.
Wow.
We're like, yeah, we might have 100 less than that. But what do you
Okay, but wouldn't that usually happen with
you would think?
yeah.
you would
Like
think.
I would definitely be more likely to go to a high school reunion when I'm older.
I kind of wonder, like, 100. Basically, I do wonder just reunions in general, less people would go than like what they used to because of social media and everything.
I
else.
guess so. Yeah.
And I also just kind of have this weird belief that less young people live in Columbus still, but it's not like it'd be hard to get back to. So yeah, I would imagine maybe numbers go up when you get to the 30, 40, 50-year class.
So they do it in the summer?
I think it's whenever it gets scheduled by whoever is putting it on.
So I thought isn't the tradition like you do it around like a football game or something like that? Or
I don't know that there is. In Columbus, a lot of times it's summer because
Wow.
usually, you're going to get at least a third, if not half of the people are ones that are coming back at some point in time.
yeah, maybe you figure you could get better attendance in the summer.
Right.
Speaking of attendance,
Go ahead.
Speaking of attendance, I'm going to ask this on behalf of our good friend Austin Jacobson. Did the entire town show up?
No. I mean,
Is there anyone left in Columbus?
there's a fair amount of people at the horse races, I suppose, on Friday, which was my first time at the new casino and horse track in Columbus,
Whoa.
and I hated it.
What?
It's
It's too new and nice.
no, it's definitely new. Like growing up, Columbus had this place, Ag Park, which is where all the horse racing and then fireworks and the county fair. So there was a lot of stuff that would happen there, but it was like built for horse racing. This horse track is built to have a casino. Like the
Sure.
horse racing is like now ancillary to the entire
So
thing.
they run some donkeys out
So,
there. And,
well,
you know,
I mean, I
once a
can't
year.
speak to the quality of the horses. They have less races. They don't have lights, so they don't go into the night anymore. So it starts at like 5 o'clock and it's done at 7:45 instead of
Mhm.
starting at 6:30 and being done sometime after 9:30.
So they meet the minimum quota of
They're
having
just
a
doing the
horse
bare
race.
minimum.
Yeah.
And then, there's like nowhere to actually sit because the grandstand is now just small and then also reserved for people who pay for the weirdest looking luxury boxes that could exist. There's like
There's
three
luxury boxes?
there's basically just an indoor area because it can be really hot out. more or
Wow.
less. But then I would assume it'd still be hot in there too. But
Yeah,
Columbus is stepping
Uh,
up their game.
kind of.
the casino.
They're
is.
kinda
My guess
stepping
is
down
it's
their
like
game.
The luxury club.
they offer it as a perk to people that are there gambling in one of their 7 stars or whatever it is.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
but yeah, it was the first time I've been out. I didn't step onto the casino floor. I wasn't really gonna go gamble, and I didn't even give myself that option. So
Wow.
instead, I ended up at the bowling alley.
I stepped on the
window.
casino floor.
That was expected, though. That's
It
a big
is.
part of the Dubuque trip.
It is. It is. which was
Did he go better than the previous week's casino?
it wasn't as hot, which was awesome.
Well, that's good.
Like outside, but it went about the same as the previous week's casino time. And now casino time is over for a while.
Okay. Understandable.
We're just taking a break from casino.
Well, I mean, you'll get back around football season, I'm sure.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't really casino during football season.
No, it's more of a basketball casino time.
No, it's more of like a off season. I don't sit around and watch sports at the casino very much.
Gotcha.
I just play the games.
I see what you're saying.
The kitty cats.
I don't know.
The
I just
towers.
assumed there'd be like hey, I've got some time to kill here, so I'm just going to end up at the casino.
But the time goes away. The time to kill goes away.
So the time to kill is like March through now, roughly.
I'd say late May, maybe like late June through now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's casino time.
Connor's not Matt McMaster. He's not going to waste his time.
No,
Matt
doesn't
claims he's
waste
not
his
going to
time.
go to the casino that much either.
Matt doesn't waste his time. He just has time.
Oh yeah,
Which is
that's the big deal.
which is the key factor.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. So hopefully everybody had a good
So
weekend.
the golf. How did the golf go?
The golf was good. We didn't we played pretty well, but not well enough to win or win anything. We always like the third or fourth hole at the scramble that we do every year. We're like, all right, we're not going to win, so we got to go really hard in the raffle and the 50-50, which happens every time. And throughout the history of us doing this, we've won the 50-50 exactly once, and I think we've won like a grand total of 3 raffle prizes.
Wow,
which is terrible. But my friend did win a Busch Light like neon sign that he doesn't know what to do with, and we did not win the 50-50.
the most winning I've ever had has occurred with like golf scrambles and just random raffle tickets that I end up with.
Yeah.
Or there's one of them where
That's the dream.
There's like 10 items that you can throw your ticket in on.
Right.
And like I've won a putter off of that when I put in one ticket and everyone else
That was the
jumping
kid.
in.
There was a 12-year-old who won it at this thing over the. He probably was like
That was
14.
me 2 years ago with a new Scotty Cameron putter.
You're like,
It was
"Oh,
amazing.
Look at this.
It's like I don't know what I paid for this ticket, but the value of which I received is immensely more than what I paid.
I just I'm a 14-year-old. I have $20 total in my entire life. Here, I think I'll give 5 of it to this person, and they'll give me tickets, and I will try to win one entry, one shot to win it all on like a Scotty Cameron putter.
Yeah.
And guess what? He does it. And I'm like, all right, let's go. Like 50, 60, 70. Like I'm piling it in the Scotty pup file, and it did nothing.
I've won
Nothing.
like a drill
Nothing.
set.
A what set?
Like a drill set, like a power
that's useful.
cordless drill. I have through our good friends at Chesterman's Coca-Cola here. I won Coke for a year in the Golf Flash in 2019.
Shout out
Wow.
to Chesterman's Coca-Cola.
So like I've walked away with some good prizes from the raffle game.
You can get some good prizes at our golf event coming
Yeah, there
up
we
in
go.
just a couple weeks. 1620 The Scramble, as I'm calling it. I think it's officially called 1620 The Zone Golf Tournament. Whatever. The branding is not important. It's a golf tournament
It's
where we
important.
all
You
show
golf.
up, and it's Friday, August 21st at Miracle Hills, and we all have a great time. And you can win prizes and things like that out there as well. It's sponsored by Cutwater and T-Box, and check it out at 1620thezone.com. All right. So we are ready. It is August. There is a something called fall camp starting this week.
Whoa.
What?
Now, where do you stand on the whole fall camp versus fall practice situation? Preseason
Or the people who call it training camp.
training camp. Yes, that's the other phrase. Where do we stand on this? We need
I
to
don't care.
knock
They're
this
all
out.
interchangeable. It doesn't matter to me.
Agreed. Joey?
It's the same thing.
Okay.
It's
sweet.
the same thing.
So when I say fall camp, you're not going to get triggered. Nobody's
No.
going to get
People,
mad.
people actually get triggered over the naming.
Yes.
Of this.
They do. Oh, they do. When I say training camp, nobody in this room is going to get triggered.
No.
Sweet. I love this show. I love you guys. This is going to be fantastic.
Do you have like examples of people on air that are triggered by these things? Like, have you come into that on air? Is it more
Well,
just like out and about?
Out and about.
Mhm.
And then I think, I want to say there was something about it on the afternoon show. I can't remember who wants what. Training camp, fall camp. They're not actually mad about it. They just it's just a joke. But like, I don't care what we're going to call
Yeah, I
it.
don't either.
Training camp, fall camp. I always thought fall camp made a lot of sense.
Sure, fall camp, fall practice.
even though it's not fall.
I agree. That's the thing. Like, I don't care. There's people who get mad about the distinction of training camp versus like fall camp or fall practice because college, NFL. I don't care about that. The only sticking point for me would arise about the fact that it's not really fall, but I'm not going to call it August camp or not really going to call it August practice.
Here's the other thing we have to be excited about this week too. So there's a press conference on Wednesday to start things off. Let me make sure I get this right. So there is a player press conference on Tuesday, it looks like. All right. And then Rule is going to talk on Saturday. Here's the talking point this week. They're staying in the dorms.
Oh, we're doing the dorms.
We have to be doing the dorms again, right?
All right.
It's worked out so well.
At what point are we going to basically be able to learn enough about who's rooming with who that you could put up a whole chart?
It depends on how long they do it. If they stretch it out past 1 week or two, like I don't know how long they're going to be in the dorms. I thought Rule said a couple, whatever the last time we talked to him was they were going to do the dorms thing again.
Okay.
But I don't know for how long. So get ready for that to be one of the conversation points this week.
Hope they pull out an old game of Battleship. We get some photos of them playing board games.
Yes. Don't they usually just bring their gaming consoles?
It's basically just like a pseudo dorm situation.
I was at a hotel this weekend and the kids had brought their console to the hotel and were losing I don't think I ever did that as a child.
No.
Brought my gaming console along with me.
We weren't ever going to be in the hotel long enough to ever need it there.
Yeah.
Now maybe
it
like a
raining.
Game Boy would have went with me somewhere at some point in time.
Right, but the plug, you gotta bring the thing in and plug it in.
PlayStation 2, no.
Yeah, they were going crazy on MLB The Show.
Now I did have a baseball teammate who would bring it when we would have we would go down to Kansas City for 4 or 5 days. And then he had it for that, and it led to FIFA tournaments.
That's a long time, though.
Right. That made more sense. And I think the parents were good with it because they wanted all the youth in a similar spot so then they could basically just
leave them,
go drink somewhere.
Yeah, that's awesome.
More or less.
That's what it's really for. All right. So it is Monday, the start of a new week and the start of August, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready, rock and rolling for football. Big Ten Media Days is over. There's still plenty of talking points that have come out of Big Ten Media Days. I am sad that I missed the Signetti Day. I would have loved to talk about how awesome he is.
I think we can work it into a show before the end of the year.
Do we donate a segment to him today or at some point this week? It's like, I love you.
He was great.
He was fantastic.
He was great on Thursday. The entire thing with the set and him just ripping everyone apart.
Tremendous.
Triggering the SEC.
Content.
Excellent stuff. Tim Verghese, Michael Brunts will join us today on this Monday. We'll have our man of the weekend coming up in just a little while. We'll still continue to preview our college football teams with our college football summer magazines. We'll talk about how Major League Baseball has done something incredibly predictable. Mr. Screwball plays for the Dodgers. Shocked. I think this was called several weeks ago on this show by one Mike Schaefer. We are headed toward fall camp when we're headed toward the athletic season starting for 2026, 2027, but not without one big giant curveball right before it starts. All the fifth-year people who are trying to get that year back this year and who were not grandfathered in, just kidding. You guys are actually eligible again. I saw this on Friday and I thought I was dreaming. It was like Friday night, wasn't it? I'm like, I'm not really paying attention to sports. I'm not really, I'm not plugged in right now. And so I caught wind of it or, it crossed my field of vision. I'm like, wait, what? They made all they made all those people eligible again. This is a disaster.
Yeah. I'm at the horse races, happen to look at my phone while I'm standing in line to get beer. And I see it and it's like, really, really do appreciate the Friday news dump of that.
Seriously.
Because I wouldn't have wanted to wade into it on Friday. It's one of those things where if that pops up, you'd want it on a day where we're both here so that you can have
we can really dig into it. Yeah.
I like that it was Friday afternoon because I don't have to initially react to it. It can just sit with it for a few days.
Yeah.
Not that I think my reaction would have changed much either way. But yeah, that is an all-time Friday news dump sort of situation.
So
Not that it was a
funny.
news dump, but to have that come out when it did.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the point of that
Right.
coming out when it did, but there are implications.
No doubt.
There are definitely implications. So we'll get to that today on the show. We'd love to hear from you all. 402-951-1620 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. You can call or text that number. Tweet it us at HappenSchafe, at Connor Happer, at Mike J. Schaefer on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor, Mike, Joey at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank inbox.
Who's that huge guy?
And we say good morning to our YouTube streamers this morning. Hello, folks on YouTube. All the regulars are here. The 6 o'clockers, the hardened Happen Shafe fans are here in the 6 o'clock hour on the YouTube stream. We look forward to them having friends join them throughout the remainder of the show. We're off and running on a Monday, and we're back after this on 1620 The Zone.
A hot and breezy day to start the week Monday. Expect mostly sunny skies throughout the day with south-southeast wind gusting up to 25 miles per hour. Highs in the low 90s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Plumrite.
If your old water heater is on its last legs, don't wait. Plumrite makes it easy to trade in your old water heater by offering $1,000 off your new one. Change out your old water heater today and get it done right with Plumrite.
Need that one particular plant? We've got over 500 different varieties. Need 50 of the same one? We've got that too. That's the Lanahaw difference. Depth and beauty you can't find anywhere else. Lanahaw Garden Center, 192nd and West Center.
Omaha police say an arrest has been made in connection with a deadly shooting from May. 21-year-old
Last night, the Dodgers of Los Angeles put out a video of their new left-handed pitcher, Tarek Skubal, arriving in the clubhouse. One thing I noticed from this is a 39-second video of like, here he comes, he's walking in, and then he starts to meet all of his now teammates as Tarek Skubal was traded, of course, as to predictably the Los Angeles Dodgers, which we will talk about here in just a second. But I wanted to focus on the bro hugs. What's the proper etiquette for the bro hugs? Because it seems like I watched this 39-second video. Every single bro hug that he did was like exactly the same to a T. So like if you and I were to bro hug right now, what would it be like? We hadn't seen each other in a while. We're happy that we're seeing each other. What would it look like?
So this is no joke.
You
Going
never
through the
bro-hugged?
recruiting thing, and you you're at the different camps or whatever, and you meet these people, or you're going to their high school, or it's different coaches, trainers, parents. I have basically just allowed the other person to be the lead as to whatever, because sometimes you get caught where someone wants a handshake and then the handshake gets pulled into a bro hug.
Sure.
And then you have no idea what the person's going to do with their opposite hand. Like, are they going to clasp you on the back? Are they going to turn it into a fist and double tap?
Yeah.
Are they going to bring you in like really, really tight, or is it kind of loose? Are you going off of the shoulder? Like, there's all of these different things. And I just allowed everyone else to dictate what it was.
Well, I mean you got to really adjust on the fly then, because it happens fast.
Yeah, you basically just have to
You have to
try
call
to
them.
quickly mimic whatever they're doing at 60%.
So I think this is the stock, at least for the Los Angeles Dodgers. The stock bro hug move was one hand, like each right hand, you do the quick kind of high five, slap, pull back type of deal.
Okay.
And then you go straight into a two-armed hug. Two-armed hug with the arm giving two taps on the back.
Two taps, I think, is like the most common.
Just two taps, like 1, 2. It's two beats. Like there's a cadence to it. There's a rhythm to it, and then you disengage from the bro hug.
Like, I feel like the two taps is a common. Big guys tend to do they bring you in and then the one clasp just to prove how strong they are, and just getting you
and as we
right
know,
on the upper left shoulder.
Mr. Scooball is giant, so,
right?
So there was a little bit of that.
No, the two tap is probably.
I mean, I'm not kidding. 39 seconds worth of bro hugs in this video, and they were all like exactly the same. There was these guys must be bro. There must be a bro hug like a sign when you walk in the clubhouse. It's like, here's how we do bro hugs.
So you think Calandria would pick it up fast?
I think so. I mean, he's got known handshakes with everybody.
But he'd be like, all right, this is what the bro hugs look like with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
He might
Are
not
the
like
Dodgers
it.
interested in Calandria? Should Nebraska be worried about that?
Well, I'm curious because he might not like it because it takes a little bit of individuality out.
Right. No.
Like you don't get to do your own bro hugs anymore as a member of the Dodgers. You just have to be a Dodger bro hug guy.
Is a Dodger bro hug similar to not having facial hair for the Yankees? Is that possibility?
It seems like
we're taking out any of the the uniqueness, and we're looking for only uniformity here.
It seems like
okay.
I
like this idea.
Going.
I want people. It always is funny to me when a guy gets traded to the Yankees and we have to make a big deal about like what his facial hair situation is.
It's like, whoa, they got him. He has a huge beard.
Would love a source story from Jeff Passan or a Ken Rosenthal or somebody like down the line, like so-and-so got traded to the Dodgers, was a little disappointed that his unique handshakes and bro hugs are no longer accepted.
I had to lose all of his personality, sadly.
Now
But
he's just a Dodger.
he's
trading his bro hugs for World Series championship.
At least the Yankees cut a little bit back on the facial hair policy. That maybe I don't know what the Dodgers version of that is, but they have to allow some personality back to the bro hugs because they're all the same.
One of my favorite it's not that deep of a cut, but deeper cut Simpsons jokes from that Homer at Bat episode is that Burns is looking at Wade Boggs. And he's like, I still see sideburns. And he's got nothing there. He's like, oh, that's such a good joke for those that get it.
So I just retweeted the video at Connor Happer on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. If you like to go check out the bro hugs, it's pretty unbelievable. But in other news, the reason that he's giving bro hugs is because he now plays for the Los Angeles Dodgers. I was thinking about this. And everybody wants to immediately jump to, there's going to be a lockout. There's going to be a lockout anyway. Okay. Tarek Skubal getting traded to the Dodgers doesn't make it more likely that we get a lockout. I don't know. It just made it so everyone finally said out loud, we're going to have a lockout. It's like, we're going to have a lockout. I was thinking about the price of Tarek Skubal, which didn't seem that large. He is a rental player. He will be signing a bigger contract this offseason. So you will get 2 months of Tarek Skubal and then the playoffs if you're the Los Angeles Dodgers. And then with the high likelihood that he signs a giant backloaded contract with them this offseason as they do. Do rental guys, this is a big picture thing. Do rental guys become even more impactful in a situation where the playoffs are giant and the early parts of the playoff series are shorter and feels like you're more in a situation now where one game really matters and a guy like that can really change. You want that guy on your team, right? I don't know. That
Yeah,
thought
it's
sort of crossed my
interesting.
mind last night.
Because the sort of counter argument to that is that it creates more variance. That if you do have a Tarek Skubal and now you're playing in this extra series, that
Right.
wouldn't have. Now the Dodgers more than likely don't play in the extra series because they're not. They're still getting a bye.
They would
or
be playing in
they're-
5 and 7 game
They're
series.
the
only.
first or the second, but that's not always the case. I mean, the Brewers and the Braves. I don't know what the exact standings of the NL is, but the Brewers or Braves could finish 1-2, and then the Dodgers would have to play in an extra series. So it cuts both ways where you have Skubal for one more time where you could really use him. So that's good. But also you have another opportunity to be eliminated early because of the variance of baseball. So I think it kind of cuts both ways. The thing with rentals for pitchers is they have a finite amount of, like the
It's like,
greatest,
what, 12 starts?
the greatest rental performance I've
CC Sabathia.
ever seen was CC Sabathia in 2008. And then the Brewers still lose in the first. So it didn't matter. But his 11 starts leading up to that.
He didn't give up a run the entire time. Yeah.
And then he goes and signs with the Yankees. And so it's like the Brewers ultimately didn't give up that much in the deal. It ends up being Michael Brantley was the one piece of it that probably hurt the most.
But that's an example of a small market organization going for it. And then of course they don't sign him at the end of the rainbow anyway. It is assumed that he is going to sign with the Dodgers this offseason. This makes it more likely that that's going to happen. And so I say all that is to say, I wonder why there weren't more aggressive runs at him from other potential playoff teams. If you're just in the mix and Tarek Skubal is out there and the price tag was what the price tag was, even though the reporting on it beforehand was the Tarek Skubal price tag is gigangus and no one will ever match it. And the Dodgers are like, yeah, you could have my 7th and 4th best prospects. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. So instead he goes to the Dodgers, whose greatest superpower is, of course, yes, having awesome players and a bunch of them and paying them 20 years later. But I think of them and I think, well, what they're doing with this is preventing a guy like Tarek Skubal from playing for other teams.
Sure.
That's where you can get taken out in a one-game playoff situation. If you're, let's just say the Tigers, right? The Tigers, who had Tarek Skubal, are 2 games out of a playoff spot right now. They're going to get a crack if they get into the playoffs against somebody. Wouldn't you want Tarek Skubal on the mound? Of course, Lane Thomas might have something to say about it, but that's a different thing. And so that is the most important thing I think that's happening here. He doesn't play for anybody else, and therefore they don't have a great equalizer.
Yeah, the hard thing too with the return package is that the Dodgers are the team most capable of being able to give up young cost-controlled players because 1, cost doesn't matter. 2, they have an all-star team, so it's hard to break into their lineup anyways. With the Brewers, they have to be a little bit more judicious on it. And then I think the Braves just don't have a farm system right now. I mean, they've had a lot of their best young players are still on their roster or are hurt or whatever else. So I would imagine they just have less overall to trade from. The annoying thing about the Dodgers is they often have a stocked farm system in addition to the most talented major league roster. So it's oh, well, you can't get better than our 5th and 9th, prospects and a throw in here that has upside. Oh, that's a shame. But this is our offer. Also, we're the only people that can really sign Skubal. So, you're going to have a tamped down market because of that too.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, good luck. I mean, think of all the names that they have traded for.
I know, it's amazing.
Since 2016, you have Manny Machado, you have Trey Turner, you have Justin Verlander, you have Yu Darvish, you have Max Scherzer, you have Mookie Betts, you have now Tarek Skubal, Blake Snell.
You say Snell, yeah.
I don't remember if Glasnow was a trade or a free agency signing, but you just have all of these Jack Flaherty, David Price
back in the day.
You have all of these different players that ended up in the Dodgers just because they're the only ones that really can do this.
Yeah.
And not only can they do this, but they can just continually do this.
Yep. And they have a great system, and it's not it's not really the Dodgers' fault.
It's not Giancarlo's fault.
It's not really the Dodgers' fault, although they are the team obviously that takes the slings and the arrows here.
Right. It's funny to me that the Braves traded for Lane Thomas on the idea of hey, this guy did it before
you
in
guys got
2024.
We got
you
Lane
might
Thomas.
have a bases loaded situation against the Dodgers.
You never know.
So I would actually love to see it happen again. It'd be great.
Oh, I would love to see it.
That would be
tremendous.
phenomenal.
So we'll see what happens in the bigger picture with baseball. But I don't blame you if you feel a little like I said, the great equalizer here is that the playoff series are short and it's a bit of a crapshoot when you get there. And so you could have this one stacked team that looks so much better, but obviously their chances are so great because they're so much more talented and whatever than everybody else. So I don't blame you if you feel a little, if you're a baseball fan, you feel a little, well, I see where this is going again. And we'll see what happens as a result of all this stuff. But other teams have the options to, develop players in the minor league system and spend money. And
other teams
like
can definitely choose to spend money.
Yeah.
The one thing the Dodgers will have that very few other is their television deal allows them to just be on a different level.
Yep.
And so because of that,
getting Ohtani on the deal that he's on, right? So like that's
getting the best player who maybe has ever played baseball to sign for $2 million a year and defer 73 or whatever it is. Incredible.
Because he has the ability to make this money from all the other endorsements and sponsorships.
Just being the greatest baseball player alive.
Look at inside of Dodger Stadium, like how many Japanese companies have like, staked out places that like doesn't happen with other teams because simply they don't have Ohtani. All right, we'll take a break and we will come back. Our man of the weekend is up on the other side. I will go to baseball for my man of the weekend.
Okay. I'm also at baseball.
Joey will go to the Green Bay Packers.
Yes.
For a good reason.
I have no doubts about the reason.
I don't know that the reasons have ever necessarily been in doubt. They're just kind of.
I mean, I couldn't really think of something, and I heard about this news
I
yesterday.
saw this story. I should have. This is again where we need to have the prediction segment of Man of the Weekend. Because I saw this on Saturday, and I was like, well, I know where Joey's going.
By the way, Debo writes in on YouTube, remember Yasiel Puig? That guy rocked. He did. There were some great Yasiel Puig moments.
There was a Dodgers to the Guardians trade, I think, at one point in time. No, he was on the Reds.
Yes.
I can't remember where he was when he ended up with the Guardians after Trevor Bauer threw that ball and then got traded, and then Puig was part of that.
That was great. Yeah.
3-team deal.
Yeah.
That went poorly.
Let's take a break. Our man of the weekend coming up next on 1620 The Zone. Here on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone. That's 1620thezone.com. We have baseball, and we have whatever Joey's cooking. Joey, what are you doing over there? What's going on with your man of the weekend? I'm curious.
My man of the weekend is the Packers starting right tackle. Jeez. It's
starting
it's
right taco.
Accountability.
Now that is a great position.
Okay.
I'm now
anyway.
imagining left shark and right taco hanging out together.
They should come up with a play for him. Just like they call it
the
right taco.
Cowboys formerly had a player named Taco. From
Yeah,
There's
Michigan.
been a couple. There's Taco Charlton. There's been Taco Wallace.
Taco Fall.
Yeah.
Former Celtic.
Well,
He was like not spelled the
right.
way.
But I do remember that guy.
Taco Fall, yeah. All right, okay. What's going on with Mr. Taco?
So formerly Zachary Tom, now it's going to be Zach Baco Bewelly. So yesterday or over the weekend, he announced he changed his last name to honor his family heritage.
Okay.
So it's Baco Bewelly. I'm going to get used to saying that. But he took part of his last name from his father's mom's maiden name, and then the other part of the last name is his mom's maiden name. So he kind of combined it together. I saw it on a jersey. I was wondering how it was going to fit, but it fit pretty good.
It's crazy you could just change your name.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't.
Whatever. You didn't want to be Connor Happer anymore, and you wanted to be whatever.
Yeah, which is
like
nuts.
Stibbs was sitting over here talking about how when he was in high school, he didn't want to be Mike or Michael because there were so many Mike or Michaels at Omaha Scott.
Yeah.
And his middle name was Carson, and there wasn't like any Carson.
He
So
tried to rebrand
He's always
himself
wanted
to
to be
Carson.
No, he didn't ever do it, but he always liked his middle name more than his
See, yeah. How do you
his
start?
first
How do you even start that process? Like, hey, start calling me Carson. You
Yeah,
know?
well, you got
just
to find
gotta-
someone who gave themselves their own nickname and then, really study how they went about doing it. But
But he went from Tom, the most simple last name, literally Tom, Tom, the most simple last name you could
Right.
possibly get, to decidedly not simple. with
Baco
his
Bewelly.
Yes, Baco Bewelly.
which is a combination of his grandparents. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Which is cool.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
it's definitely now you could get. Do you have a Zach Tom jersey, a vintage one
No-
that just
no,
says
I don't.
Tom on the back?
No, I don't. But when I'm up in Green Bay, I'll see if that's in the clearance section at the Packers. Pro
Clearance
Shop.
section. Are they going to get rid of them?
Well, no.
It's an
the
opportunity
Tom
for
jersey. The
dudes.
Tom
Oh.
jersey,
It's an
My
opportunity
guess
for.
is those wouldn't be available.
probably.
I'm just saying, you got an opportunity for dudes named Tom to just like go. That's going to go
Tom-
triple platinum with
Tom-
dudes named Tom.
Tom, who is 50 years old. That's a perfect opportunity.
I'm not going to lie. The Ahmad Hudson edition at Nebraska, where there could be a possibility of like Hudson jerseys.
Pretty exciting
Pretty
for
great for, a
3-year-old Hudson.
kid that
Yeah.
is very obsessed with his current name. So, yeah.
got-
Well, yeah, he hasn't legally got the last name changed, but he's starting the process.
Gotcha.
I'm going to go with a baseball guy here. So every year on our trip out to Dubuque, which we had this weekend, we end up at the sports book, which is inside of the casino, to like basically just take a breather from our initial push of being at the casino.
Sure.
So like let's just sit around for a while. And so what we end up doing is either we pick a Super Bowl team and then hang on to the ticket, which we did a couple years ago. We just figured like we want the instant gratification. So what we end up doing is we have a home run parlay
Yeah, there it is.
That-
This is good.
that we put together.
This is good.
And so it was just me and my buddy. He's a Mets fan, and I'm like, pick one guy from your team. I'll pick one guy from my team, and we'll throw it together and we'll see what happens. He picked Francisco Lindor, who hit a home run on Friday. That earns him my man of the weekend.
Look at that.
Anti man of the weekend, Michael Massey for the Kansas City Royals. Why did I pick Michael Massey? I don't know. I considered picking Carter Jensen, who actually did hit a home run on Friday. The one single run the Royals were able to scrounge together against the Colorado Rockies on Friday. They only scored like 5 all weekend against them ridiculously and were swept away at the hands of the Colorado Rockies. So anti-man of the weekend, Michael Massey. And you know what? Carter Jensen too, because how dare you hit a home run when I wager on somebody else to hit a home?
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous of Carter Jensen to have the gall to take the home run away from Michael Massey, by just taking it out of the ether.
So shout out to Francisco Lindor. He came through.
Yeah, look at that. Francisco Lindor with a big home run that didn't ultimately matter. I've experienced that before.
Shocking.
Not as big as a Rajai Davis home run that ultimately didn't matter. The highlights of which give you excitement briefly before you go into despair.
Just because you lose the game doesn't mean it didn't matter.
No, it mattered.
It was great.
It didn't affect the outcome that ultimately happened. Here's a guy that you could have picked any number of days, Friday, Saturday. Hell, you could have been like, I wonder what it'd be like odds-wise if we gotten 2 home runs from this individual on Saturday. Probably astronomical. He only had 10 coming into the week and then ended Monday through Sunday with 15 home runs, 4 of which he hit over the weekend. Are you familiar with Boston Red Sox outfielder Cedar Rafaela?
I am.
Who's that huge guy?
Cedar Rafaela hit 5 home runs this week, 4 against the Dodgers. The Red Sox swept the Dodgers. They continue to be an incredibly hot baseball team. Cedar Rafaela, who I've never really felt was particularly good, just torched the Dodgers pitching staff.
Red Sox are smoking.
Yeah, they went from like absolutely leaking oil, side of the road, mercy killing opportunity for whoever, to now all of a sudden maybe could be the best team in a very terrible American League because someone needs to be.
Someone actually has to be.
The 3 teams with the most wins are all in the American League East.
Yeah.
2 of them will get to be wild
And
card
I don't
teams
know,
to play on the road.
Take your pick, Schaefer. Do you want the terrible Yankees? Do you want the terrible Red Sox? Or do you want the terrible Rays to represent the American League in the World Series and be the mercy killing
And
of
it
the
doesn't
Dodgers?
get any better. You either end up with the White Sox, the Guardians, the currently Astros are winning the AL West.
Not only are none of these teams all that good, I don't like any of them.
They're terrible.
Except for you liking the Guardians.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
That'd
that.
be the best case scenario for
and
everyone.
for a lot of people, it's like, oh, cool. This $70 million roster of nobodies is going to represent an entire league in the World Series
I don't
against
want
the
that.
Dodgers. Nobody really wants that either. I don't even know that I want that because it rewards them for all the wrong things.
I don't want to watch Stephen Kwan in the World Series.
He's like one of their name brand players. He's not even good.
I would like to give one more special shout out for Man of the Weekend. Texas Roadhouse.
Okay.
I went to Texas Roadhouse for the first time in many years.
Wow. Many years.
Many years. And here's the situation.
Texas Roadhouse in Omaha is packed all the time.
Correct. And so we made the decision, like, let's go to Texas Roadhouse. It kind of sounds good. And I was like, you know what? It does sound good. And so we roll up there and I look at my watch. It's like, it's 7:00 on Friday, and we're in Dubuque.
You're gonna
Iowa,
get a table,
and we are going. I'm like, this place is gonna be loaded. It was raining outside too.
Sure.
Like, you have no idea this place is gonna be loaded. We walk in there, and she's like, I'm like, just give it to me. Tell me how long I have to wait. And she's like, 35 to 45 minutes.
Wow.
And I go, all right. And then I kind of did the math in my head. I was like, let's put our name in. And then 10 minutes later, they text us and they're like, you're in.
Wow.
And
Wonderful.
I had several of the rolls. They were
The
smoking
rolls are
hot.
good. The butter's good.
The butter was delicious. Shout out to Texas Roadhouse, man.
Yeah.
It was loaded.
It is.
But they churn and burn out there. Did you know that there is a Texas Roadhouse song? There's a Texas Roadhouse song. It's literally about Texas Roadhouse.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
And they
not
play
know
the
this.
Texas Roadhouse song at like 8:00.
Wow.
Or probably just at the top of the hour.
That's incredible.
And they still do. I didn't see the nuts anymore though. I was concerned about the status of the nuts.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if that's like a cash. They just hand out packages.
I
of
think
them,
it probably
think.
died after COVID.
Yeah, it's possible.
Would be my guess.
I was
entirely
there a
possible.
couple of years ago, and I remember seeing the buckets around in the West Omaha one.
The buckets are still there.
They're still there?
But I don't see the nuts.
Yeah.
No nuts. Just so you guys know. There's your status update. All right. That is our Man of the Weekend. The 7:00 hour is coming up next. We have plenty of stuff to get to. But we have football topics, and we're going to get to those. You know, there was plenty from Matt Rule at Big Ten Media Days last week. But how about this giant curveball that has now struck us right before the season is supposed to start on eligibility concerns? Is eligibility real anymore? I don't know the answer to that question, but we'll parse through some of how this new eligibility rule could affect you in your life after this on 1620 The Zone.
Good luck with that, Dan.
All right, just a minute shy of 7 o'clock on a Monday morning. Happer and Schaefer rolls on at 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer, and Joey Warcola. Joey, I got some news for you. I have been informed that you have affected real change this morning. That
I did?
Yes, that picture that you just had up on our YouTube slate during the break, the one that depicts me in jail.
Yes.
That one right there. This it's still a great graphic, no context. It probably doesn't make any sense to anyone unless you were listening at that specific time on that specific day. But the real change that you have affected this morning is that my daughter was apparently watching along, and she has decided that she wants to wear orange today because I have been depicted in a jail jumpsuit by Joey in his graphic. Nice job, Joey.
That's good for you. It means that you can kind of Joey can create graphics and really kind of push her in whatever direction.
Yeah, this is a lot of power and control, actually, if you think about it that way.
Can I inspire her to have a favorite tennis player? Our beloved Yannick Sinner.
If you can create a graphic of Joey and Yannick hanging out, then maybe she will think that Yannick is one of, or not Joey, of Connor and Yannick hanging out. That would be, I think that could go a long way. There we go.
Dad, where's your friend Yannick Sinner?
That would be amazing.
We're not friends. We're actually not cool at all. I don't like him.
Now she'll be like,
Who's that huge guy?
So there you go. There's the real change that you've affected this morning, sending subliminal messages down the.
Soon she'll start eating lasagna.
Down the line. Yeah, she would actually should be pretty fired up about lasagna, would be my guess. All right. So on Friday, once again, late Friday, you're unplugged from, if we work and talk about sports all the time. So like Friday rolls around, it gets late Friday night. Unless there's a big sporting event on, we're probably unplugged from the sports world a little bit on Friday night. So like I'm unplugged a little bit, and I just caught wind of this, and it says judge grants injunction for class of 22 athletes seeking fifth NCAA season, which effectively makes every single person who was a 4-for-4 player, right? Didn't take a red shirt, played 4 years of college athletics, who just missed out on this new 5-for-5 rule because the rule was enacted, this summer. It makes them eligible to come back and play college athletics should they want to and should they find a spot to be able to. That is the tricky part of this that we'll talk about as we go on. But I saw this, I'm like, wait a minute, what? So the timing is the difficult part, obviously, about this entire thing. I don't mind. I thought this is the way that they would go in the first place. Basically, this is effectively grandfathering in the players who barely just missed out on the rule, on being able to take advantage of the rule. And they were a victim of the timing in the first place. And now they get a gift, should they so please, for the timing if they're able to sort of come back. And there are a lot of things that this affects, including your local football and basketball teams. That is for sure. So I don't know. Where does your mind go first, Schaefer?
Well, my mind goes to the Nebraska side of it, and particularly Nebraska basketball, where there had been conversations about Jamarcus Lawrence, Nebraska holding a spot or having potentially a spot for him. Now, having a spot or not doesn't guarantee anything. One, because there's still potential legal challenges here from the NCAA about the ruling to appeal.
Yeah, they're going to appeal. I don't know.
I don't know how much it'll matter.
I think this is happening.
And then there's also the element of this, Nebraska spent its money. A lot of these teams spent its money. And so you don't necessarily have this sort of money lying around to then cover a guy in Jamarcus Lawrence that you would expect to make. There's a reason that he would do this over playing professionally. So you at least have to meet that standard, I'm guessing. And then there's the on-court element of it that you gave those minutes away. You were expecting someone else to play, and you paid that person like they're going to play. And
At this point of the summer, you could not have let's just use Jamarcus Lawrence as the example, because that's the one that we've been using this entire time. If you're Fred Hoiberg, yes, you could be thinking in the back of your mind, oh, we might have him, but you can't be planning around him for the season this year. You couldn't have been.
No.
Because you didn't know, there was so
it's found money, basically.
Right.
But then you need that found money to also not be counterfeit. I don't know how to extend this analogy where the found money could also not work for you.
Yeah. Oh my God, it has a dye pack, huh? It just blew up in my face.
No, that would be, I feel like you should notice the dye pack when you find the money. You reach into an old jacket and you have a dye pack of 20s, banded dye pack there.
Yeah, you probably should notice that it looks
you
like
probably
stolen money.
Remember, yeah, that was a jacket I used in one of my heists, but
probably shouldn't wear that again.
Yeah, that jacket is evidence. But the Nebraska end of it, hypothetically, if he were to come back, would be so big for them on a variety of levels. One, even from the playing time perspective, if you could convince him to take a kind of a backseat role where he would be a sixth man. I don't know if that's something he'd be willing to do or whatever it is. That adds a scoring component to your bench that you really maybe lack a little bit or some certainty there. Not that, you're guaranteed performance, but you've got a guy that you would expect, X from, whatever X being. And then it would help from a leadership standpoint almost immediately. The one thing this team feels like it maybe doesn't have a great feel for is who the vocal leader is post Lawrence, Mast, Hoiberg, all gone. So from the Nebraska perspective, that could be helpful, but you also don't want to, they're going through summer practices. They've already done some of the early lifting. So it's just a weird trying to make all of these pieces fit, let alone the un-Nebraska perspective, which is all the other teams around.
I think ultimately, if you look big picture, this is like I said, this is the direction I thought they were going to go in the first place.
Yeah, when we first had these conversations in April.
I thought they were going to grandfather the 4-for-4 people in and let them, and then, we'll continue on with our life basically starting next year when it's full on. So I think the rule is fine.
Yeah.
The timing is obviously the very, very difficult thing here. If it ends up going this way, like you said, there's still hoops that they, have to jump through and things like that. There is conversation about opening up a portal period like today for all of these people. Now, I believe as it stands right now, the only people that could take advantage of this rule and transfer are people who that preemptively entered the transfer portal earlier, before the summer even started in the last portal period, which I don't know how many people, for sure did that. I certainly
understand. The question is why you would have been able to do that if you were out of eligibility anyways. How do you enter a portal without remaining eligibility?
I know some people did.
No, they definitely can. My assumption is if there's a way that you can enter it where it's you're seeking clarification from the NCAA.
Right.
Whatever. It's this box you check.
I imagine there were some people who went through and took visits just in case, just in case they get their eligibility very, very odd because we didn't know how this was going to go in the first place. And then it turns out we go over and then we come back to what we kind of thought it was going to be initially. And so it creates a situation where there might be, as early as today, there might be a bunch of new experienced players in the basketball transfer portal, in the football transfer portal. I think fewer and further between there.
Yeah, timing wise, that would be difficult. But you have a number of guys who would have went to a rookie camp that were just informed like, hey, you're not needed. Now, football feels like you have a lot more of the guys who use their 5 years because of red shirts, injuries, whatever else. So it just seems like that number would be small.
Agreed.
Baseball fascinates me a little bit.
Yeah.
There's definitely some people who didn't get drafted or didn't get signed as an undrafted free agent that would have the opportunity to come back, whether they want to or not.
And then there's a bunch of people who signed, let's stick with basketball. There's a bunch of people who signed like professional contracts, but haven't necessarily, maybe don't like their situation, or they were overseas and they thought they were going to get an opportunity here in the States, or, whatever it might be. Like, what do those players, are they able to get out of those and just say, hey,
does Braden Smith want a 2-way contract with the Pacers, or does he want to go back to adding his,
I would assume you would want the 2-way contract.
I would think so.
If you're a 2-way guy, then you probably stick with that. But if you're an overseas guy, or you're just a G League guy, maybe you're interested in
just a G.
just a G League.
I like the idea. Just a G.
Now, with that being said, so Debo writes in on YouTube, and we want to hear from you guys on this 402-951-1620. He says, especially now that summer workouts are over, anyone coming in has to understand that they're a depth piece, at least to start the year at the high major level. I don't know that that's the case for everybody. I think there's a lot of folks who, we talked about it locally with Creighton and Nebraska. They have either A, spent all their money, or B, they have a pretty good idea of what they're going to look like. And they've actually even started the process of quote unquote practice and figuring out what they're going to be like as a basketball team. It would be odd to add in a significant piece to that puzzle this late, but not every situation is like that. We talked about several weeks ago, Gonzaga's situation. They were one of the first schools that I thought about here. They've been given a second lifeline because they lost their starting point guard this summer to a professional contract overseas, Mario Sansupari, and they were basically like SOL. We just lost our point guard in June, and we don't have any more opportunities to go get anybody else. What's going to happen here? They have been given a lifeline. So maybe there's one person out there who is a 4-for-4 person and gets their second lease on life as far as playing college basketball is concerned. And there just so happens to be a spot to play point guard at one of the best basketball schools in America, right? With a great team, like a national championship type contending type team around that person, which is a fascinating development for that specific team. And I'm sure there's several more of them around the country, but that was one of the first ones that I thought about.
Yeah. So one of the names in the story that Happer has, linked in our rundown, it's a CBS Sports one, was Jordan Pope. And it's like, okay, that guy's really good. Like, I've watched him play for Oregon State. He was at Texas. Someone somewhere is going to pay Jordan Pope to play for them. And that changes the whole complexion of what you're doing.
Yep.
Because that's a guy, like, not to take away from Jamarcus Lawrence, but like Jamarcus Lawrence is someone who could fit in maybe a smaller role and would be a little bit more comfortable with it. Jordan Pope is a guy who could go score 25 points a game every night in college basketball. Like, that is someone who can change the complexion.
Need a guy who can get you 25 points a night at college basketball, right?
Yeah.
Like, if like I said, we've talked about it with Nebraska. Like, Nebraska's not going after that type of guy right now. It's just they're not. Like, as much as you would love to have the best player available, and we do fantasy football with this stuff all the time, it's just not. It's not feasible for how far you are along in your offseason program and how much money you have available at your fingertips. That's the most of it for the record. But like, it's just not feasible for some, but for one team, it will be.
Yeah, someone's going to get a guy and just totally luck into a situation that didn't exist for them.
Right.
And who that, like, it just kind of feels like it's going to end up being Texas Tech or something like that.
So like I said, ultimately, I think they ended up in a okay place.
Could have been worse is how I sort of feel about it.
Yeah.
Like, it definitely could have been worse. Weirdly,
it is definitely chaotic. The timing is disastrous, but I don't know. Like, we'll see how many people actually come back at this stage, and then how many folks around college basketball or football or whatever take advantage of the situation. I don't think it probably is as bad as it seemed when we saw the news on Friday.
Right.
Like everyone was like, "Oh my God, what is going on?"
And ultimately, I continue to hold out hope that we're basically sort of a year away from finally having some kind of, uniformity with what you're going to do.
That's the good thing.
And so it's like, all right, if I have one more year of just oddness, and you had Charlie Baker's statement where basically is calling on Congress to pass the Save College Sports Act, which I think there's been some more changes and that could get closer to something. But it feels like this is one of the final times we have to do the court case thing where on a grand scale.
I think so.
I hope so.
Until someone finds out they could take advantage of it again. But
yeah, well,
maybe that's a couple years down the line still.
I hope not.
I don't know. But as far as what it means around here, I don't know. Are there any spots where Nebraska football might be interested in if the timing matches up with somebody, or coming back from last year? There's a bunch of guys who have signed professional contracts and are in training camps or have moved on with their lives at this point. I sort of doubt it, considering practice starts literally in 2 days. Basketball, I think the Jamarcus Lawrence situation is the closest you can get to, I think this can work. Like he's been here. It felt like they were holding out some space in their heads of like, this could happen. So you weren't necessarily saving a spot for him, but you were, you knew that there was a chance, right? So that feels like, I don't know what the likelihood would be, but that feels like maybe one of the most likely matches that you could possibly get. As far as what it means for Creighton, I don't know. Do you
it's just too early to know.
Do you go back in and try and find a backup big, or is there someone from last year's team who would be interested in coming back? And like, do you really need this and this there? Or do you want to just kind of clean break and move on to the next era? I don't know.
Yeah. And then you have somebody obviously thought about Jamarcus Lawrence. You go to a very different sport in Nebraska volleyball where it's not like they need anything to return, but in theory, Becca Alec is like right there. Do you, you already are loaded. And then if you're Becca Alec, it's like, okay, do you go you have this opportunity to play again. Do you go look for another school that isn't Nebraska now? And then, the season starts in like 2 weeks. Practice, I think, starts for volleyball today.
What happens to if you've been playing volleyball professionally? Like, because in theory, if you were a college volleyball star last year, you played an entire season of professional volleyball already.
Could have.
And you'd probably stand to make quote unquote more money if they could scrounge together the money. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Because one of the first people that when we were doing the whole 5 for 5 thing, one of the first people that sort of made sense in my mind was Ava Martin at Creighton, who has now played an entire season of professional volleyball and is a good player. But I mean, obviously, I guess I don't know if Creighton would want to.
And I don't know if the NCAA basically could say, okay, well, she did play professionally, so she's out.
And they're getting things all ready to go for the professional season. It's further away than the college season, which, like you said, starts like today. So I don't
either late last week or right away today.
It's very, very, very odd situation.
Yeah.
And obviously the timing is incredibly ridiculous at this point. But we roll with the punches. We're used to it, at least at this point. So want to hear from you guys on that. 402-951-1620. Classic John text here from the text line. This isn't going to somehow allow Corcoran to come back, for the love of God, is it? No, I think he's played like 100 years already.
Turner Corcoran was part of the 2020 class, so he'd be, several years removed from this.
Dan writes in on the text line as well. Lawrence and Blue entered the portal during the portal period. I do remember those guys saying, we're going to preemptively enter the portal. So I suppose Lawrence could go elsewhere.
Yeah.
There is that option too. I don't know. Seems like he likes spot. At
I think
Nebraska, but
everybody
don't
would
know what
love
that
to
spot
make it
is.
work. It's whether you can make it work or not.
Right.
I mean, ultimately what it's going to come down to.
Like I said, 402-951-1620. Also, send us a tweet at Schaefer on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed, or Connor, Mike, or Joey at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. We'll take a quick time out and have more after this on 1620 The Zone. I have an announcement. Would you guys like to hear it? I think you do. Don't say no.
I sure do.
All right. 1620 The Zone is sending one lucky Husker fan and a guest to see Nebraska play football against Oregon.
Whoa.
Where's that game? It's in Eugene. That's right. We're going to send you all the way out there with a friend, and you're going to go watch Nebraska and Oregon and enjoy the beautiful sights and sounds of the state of Oregon. You can enter at 1620thezone.com right now. Contest went live this morning. Bonus chances to earn even more entries on the radio as you listen to our shows leading up to the game or when we draw. The ultimate Husker road trip could be yours thanks to Woodhouse Auto Family and 1620 The Zone. You're going to get 2 tickets to the Nebraska-Oregon game, which is Saturday, October 17th. Round-trip airfare Omaha to Eugene for 2, a 2-night hotel stay, and a $150 gift card for whatever it is you'd like to do with your $150. Enter now, 1620thezone.com. We're getting more worldly at 1620 The Zone. We are sending our listeners to places like Chicago, places like Oregon. Where will we send them next? I don't know, but we like to put you on planes and let you experience the world.
It's too bad we did not get that game in Uzbekistan because I was really hoping for Scott Frost to make that a
Now
thing
that's a
for the
road
Huskers.
trip.
Yeah,
You can't
That
drive to
would've been
Uzbekistan.
tough to probably cover all the airfare to Uzbekistan for 2 people.
You
Only
never know.
one person gets to go on the Uzbekistan.
We love our fantastic sponsors.
We do.
They could always come
This
through.
is fantastic.
So thank you to Woodhouse Auto Family and the folks here at 1620 The Zone for putting that together. And congratulations in advance to whoever is able to win that, because that is a pretty sweet deal. I've heard awesome things. Of course, the last time Nebraska played up there.
You've never been to Oregon, right?
I've never been to the state. Maybe I should go.
I've never been there.
You seem like you would love Oregon.
I seem like I would love Oregon.
You know, like there's
Why do you say that?
you like Colorado a lot, correct?
I like Colorado.
Yeah. So
Is
it's-
Oregon Colorado?
Oregon is a lot of Colorado.
It's
but there's
3940.
an ocean, you know, so you get the geographical aspect of it with the mountains and
Okay.
the forest, and then there's the beach line, and you have the water and all of that, and then you get the craft beers and
I like all those things that you're saying. You're
Portland.
speaking my language.
Portland and Denver. There's some kinship there. Now I haven't been to Portland. Last time Nebraska played there, I guess
I've
would have been
never
the last time.
Portlanded myself.
I have been to Portland 5-6 times.
Whoa!
Something like
wow.
That
I'm
is a
jealous.
big
Great-
move. By
Great
you.
city. I've had a ton of fun there. I think you would really like Oregon. You seem like you would really like.
All right.
Driving through the Pacific Coast Highway in Oregon is kind of a dream, or it's just pretty much from Washington all the way down to Northwest California.
Yeah, I've done the
mentions
Oregon
roads.
coastline of it. Like we left Portland, went all the way down south, and then worked our way up the coastline one Sunday. It was a fantastic time. Very beautiful.
Okay. Well, maybe Nebraska can make it a beautiful football game too,
Maybe so.
or maybe not.
I'm excited to be involved potentially with the Big Red Overreaction.
Do we have another announcement? Do you
Well,
have
I don't
another?
know. Are we supposed to
I
announce
mean,
these
hey,
things?
look.
I thought Josh wanted to do his
The
you know,
leaks?
leaks.
The leaks.
He's
So-
trying to be Joey.
I'll put it this way. I think I will be involved for the Big Red Overreaction for the game that will have the biggest spread of the year.
Should I just break the news like at some point during the day if Josh is not going to do such a thing?
I think that I'm going to break it right now.
Oh no.
It's
Uh-oh.
going to be Mike Schaefer and John Bishop
Oh, I can't wait.
for
I'm
the
so excited.
Oregon game. Exciting.
If there's not that I wouldn't enjoy doing a Big Red Overreaction with you, though I don't really think it's necessary because we have the entire week to discuss the game following and everything else. Or Josh or Matt. I think John and I, if it's gonna, the possibility of that game being ugly or all of the Raiola aspect of it, everything involved, I felt like that's a good pairing for that one. I think that we could have a nice show.
I agree with you completely.
Yeah.
Would you like to know some more Big Red Overreaction highlights?
Oh, you're gonna do it?
just some highlights.
Okay.
I got to start making the graphics.
I mean, I'm doing it. I don't know if Josh had a big plan for this or whatever, but I think we're just gonna rock it.
I'm just going to tweet on my account.
It's actually older news than the eligibility.
I think this is a perfect one. So Matt has spent the last 2 weeks being triggered at everybody because he's mad that they're saying Indiana is not that good, but that's not what people are saying, right?
Yes.
Have you followed this whole thing?
The crossover on Friday.
He got
was
really
incredible,
mad. He's
by the
really
way.
mad.
Did you know anything that happened there?
I didn't hear.
It was another instance where Matt says something, and then I hold him to the literal, meaning of the words, and he gets all mad about he claimed that he averages 265 on a driver.
Okay.
And I was like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way you, man, who just broke 90 for the first time in your life,
I don't know how he swings it.
averages 265 on his driver.
Okay.
He hits it out of bounds 40% of the time. You can't average 265 on a driver.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we
yeah.
start there. Whatever.
Like if he hits it good, he hits it
Right.
265.
And so it's 10% of the time you're hitting it 265 or better. I agree. And he was just irate. And Stibbs is over here.
Just sitting there
Why
laughing.
does this always happen? Why do you have to be so literal? You said average.
It's called accountability.
Right.
We're holding people to the standard of what they're talking about. So Matt is, after we talked about how the Indiana game is winnable for Nebraska, he got really mad and his dove in.
Well, then the promo
first.
plays all the time,
Yes.
and the promo is a good one.
And he's
Joey
dove in
is a great
head
choice.
first on Indiana being awesome. And I love Indiana is awesome. There's no doubt about that. But what a perfect time for Matt McMaster and Connor Happer.
Yeah, that's a good pair.
To host Big Red Overreaction together following the Indiana game.
That's a good one.
I think that's pretty solid. Let's see. Season opener against Ohio.
Yeah,
It is Mike Schaefer and
That's
Matt
me.
McMaster.
that's gonna be
I
a good one.
called it.
You guys could basically just do a crossover where you yell at each other
Never
for 3
yell.
hours.
No, I'm
And
never the one
callers.
yelling.
That's true. He is always raising his voice.
The yelling emanates from one place.
It does.
I'm usually the one that's befuddled by what prompted the yelling.
Is there any other? Let's see.
You can drop Black Friday if you want.
Black Friday. Mike Schaefer and Josh Peterson.
Yeah, a man
I
who
think
thinks
I
Iowa
called
could
that
go to the
one.
college football playoff this year.
Josh is doing just all the Friday games and one more game because he is too busy on the
He's
the
a
life.
easy man.
The life has really gotten to the afternoon show. I mean, those guys used to be very available, and now they're very unavailable.
Yeah.
Leaving all of the weight of the Big Red Overreactions on the morning and midday shows. It's very interesting.
But we
how
can
that's
carry
worked
the
out.
weight.
We can
We
carry
have
the weight.
broad shoulders.
We are
can
very
handle it.
capable, but mostly Big Red Overreaction is for you, the callers. The greatest voice of all, yours. That's what they say in Big Red
You
Overreaction.
are 1620 the zone.
All right, so I have told people what is coming for the Ohio game, the Indiana game, the Oregon game, and the Iowa game. Should we just leave it there? If anybody else wants to throw any more out throughout the day, I think you can feel free.
I think
to
that's
do
fair.
so. All right, fun.
I think that's fair.
402-951-1620. Of course, you can hit us up. By the way, we get a tweet here from KD on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. My wife is from Portland. We go multiple times a year. Great city to visit.
It is truly.
All right, shout out to Portland. A lot of Portland love on this segment. Let's do a Husker football topic real quick. All right, so Matt Rule on the off season, they've had this idea that they've had the quiet off season and all these different things. He's very well aware of what gets said about him, as we've talked about before. He said at Big Ten Media Days on Thursday, he stumbled upon this, and I think he actually kind of got progressively more angry about it as he went on throughout the answer here. He goes, I go to the Knicks game. I take a donor to the Knicks game. I spend my own money to get the donor to the Knicks game. I get the tickets. We sit with the GM and the president, and I'm doing all this in the service of the university, and I'm getting killed on Twitter. And he talked about how he, came back and he was at 6 a.m. workouts the next morning and all these different things. And he goes, that's what a great steward of the university. Like I'm working for you, and yet I'm out there getting killed. He said, you could say whatever you want. You can't say I don't work hard. Folks, that is true.
Yeah,
He 100% does.
We did this, and I got some feedback from people throughout the week on our tiers of tired storylines, and tired narratives. And this was one of mine. I'm so tired of hearing where Matt Rule is in the
This goes
offseason.
hand in hand with the podcast thing for me too. Like it's the same thing. I'm sick of it.
I have doubts about Matt Rule. None of them are ever about his interest or desire to make Nebraska football the best program that it can be.
100%.
I have never remotely been concerned that he's stealing money from the university because he has this job and then he's not working. I don't care if he has the ability to go to places because he's the Nebraska football coach and that's how he can get through the door. And I certainly don't care if he shows up and is at a place like Oklahoma City to support the basketball team. It doesn't overshadow anything for me. It doesn't mean anything more that he just wanted to go or was asked to go or whatever else. Just like any other coach, when Danny Busboom Kelly's at these things or whoever else, Fred Hoiberg's at football or volleyball or wherever they go to baseball. I don't care about any of that. I never understood why we have to come up with reasons that aren't involved with the football for why you like or don't like the football coach.
Yeah, right.
Like that was part of the biggest issue with the Scott Frost thing for me is whatever people thought was happening, you could just point at what wasn't happening on the field.
Totally.
And so when we get into the conversations about Matt Rule, and it's like, I think this guy really cares about Nebraska in a way that previous coaches have not. The fact that he is doing this shouldn't be conceived as a bad thing or reviewed as a bad thing.
100%.
And it drove me. And so I appreciate, I could see somebody like, oh man, the hubris of acting like you're in service of the university because you go to a basketball game. I don't care about any of that. I think it would be really annoying to have people tell you that you don't work hard when they're there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is over there all the time. The staff is over there all the time. They have their vacation periods and then they're gone. And otherwise they live there.
Yeah. I guess the thing about
whether that's good enough on the field is a different conversation.
I'm in lockstep with you on that. Like that, I have reservations about Rule on whether they're going to be able to get it done or whatever it is here.
But it won't be because he wasn't in the building.
It's not about them going to Knicks games or the Husker basketball NCAA tournament games or whatever. Like it's not. It never was going to be. My concern with this is that he seems to do this where he really does let, I think, I don't know if he lets it get under his skin, but he's, as we've always noticed, he is hyper aware of what is being said about him on the internet by the fan base. Like, does he have to talk about this all the time? Does he have to care about, like, is this worth, getting up there at the press conference and say, hey, look, man, I'm working for you. Like, maybe not. Is he worried about the wrong things? Sometimes I feel like he is. Is this ultimately important in the grand scheme of things?
No,
it is not. It is not. But he's sitting up there for 45 minutes and, it's touching all sorts of subjects. And obviously, the media hasn't talked to him since May or, whatever it is. And so I get it. There was a lot of that stuff that sort of came off that way to me on Thursday.
Yeah, if it felt like he was forcing this into an opening statement of Big Ten media days, then I would be like, okay. But knowing how these things work, where they're just there for an amount of time and get asked anything, occasionally what their favorite deals are inside of Hy-Vee, and how they feel about sponsored food at the University of Nebraska.
That's a great question.
Yeah, I mean, those are interesting things to learn. That's kind of what happens here.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it came up like, hey, you were the subject of a lot of conversation. Kind of let loose on it. I'm good with that. Totally.
Matthew writes in on YouTube. He says, get ready for a crashed out Rule at press conferences if the season starts to get away from him. I do wonder about, like, if it gets off the rails, like the toxicity level of sort of how it works, given the seemingly adversarial relationship that now, I don't know if it exists as much as we talk about, but like there is this, I don't know. It comes from both Rule and the fan base. It's like something is not exactly connecting. I think they want to connect. They and this is a broad generality, right? Like they want to connect, but it's not connecting completely. Right. And I don't know exactly what that is.
And if he's crashing out, to use the parlance of Matthew there, it's going to be because they're not winning games, which he himself has said they have to win football games. Right. So again, it comes back to what matters, which is the on-field results.
Right.
So other than that, I mean, I have no problem with that comment. I thought a lot of the stuff that came out of media days was ultimately fine. I mean, I don't feel like we learned a ton.
No, there's more talking points though,
Sure.
and of which we will get to more of when we come back in the 8 o'clock hour and get to some more different things. Conversation about the schedule. Dana Holgerson, our favorite topic.
Ooh.
Dana Holgerson, can he call plays now without a conscience?
Does that
Very
mean
interesting.
anything?
Very, very interesting. And then the breath of fresh air comment from Justin Evans regarding Anthony Calandria. I when I heard it, I was like, oh, okay. Makes sense to me. Not surprised by it, but I do think people gravitate toward it because, you want to have your suspicions sort of confirmed a little bit. It's like, oh yeah, that was kind of an issue. And I don't know that it's going to be automatically better with the next guy, but it will be different. And that part of it is a good thing. So we will get to that in the 8 o'clock hour as well. Want to hear from you, 402-951-1620, the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. You could also text that number. I got a couple tweets that we can get to. But more importantly, Joey's headlines coming up on 1620 The Zone. All right, 747. Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. It's time for Joey's headlines. Joey, what do we got today?
Okay, headline number one, San Francisco company offers cleaning service using humanoid robots.
Robots. We should just call this segment Robot Update. What are the robots doing today?
We call it robot, animals, or blank. We got to come up with what the third would
Crime.
be. Crime.
Robot teachers.
Robot animals or dumb criminals.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Headline number 2.
Minnesota man charged for using homemade spike strip to keep kids off his lawn.
Dumb criminals.
Dumb criminals, definitely. We're going with that one. Let's go to where are we going? Minneapolis? Yeah. Wyoming, Minnesota. A Minnesota man faces a court date next month for allegedly setting up a homemade spike strip in his yard last spring in an attempt to keep neighborhood children off his lawn. Kyle Steffen is 39. He's charged with one gross misdemeanor count of setting a spring gun, pitfall, deadfall, or snare, which carries a potential maximum sentence of 180 days in prison or a $1,000 fine. According to a criminal complaint filed in the case, one of Steffen's neighbors in Wyoming, Minnesota, called police in April to report that Steffen was yelling at her children to stay out of his yard. When officers arrived, they saw a long piece of thick plastic set in the lawn with about 43-inch screws sticking up from the plastic. This is incredibly dangerous. Officers noticed bicycle tire tracks in the yard and said it appeared neighborhood children would ride through the yard as a shortcut into a nearby park. The complaint states officers spoke to Steffen, who admitted placing the device to keep kids off his lawn, and that he previously yelled at the kids many times, but they still rode through his yard and Steffen says it was, quote, out of spite. Steffen also allegedly told officers he did not mean to injure anyone or scare them, but the complaint noted that he seemed frustrated that the device was not effective in keeping kids off his lawn. He is scheduled for a court appearance at the end of August. What do you think, Schaefer? Fair or foul?
Look, I don't think a spike strip is necessary, but those kids were 100% riding their bikes out of spite by the end of it.
You think out of spite?
Oh, yeah.
What if they were just using it as a shortcut, as originally
Well, no, they
intended?
were using it as a shortcut, but then also making sure they went through the lawn out of spite, having been yelled at.
You think so?
Yes.
What if there was a legit, like, we want to just cross this, we
Sure,
have to cross
okay.
this yard?
Let me
to get-
rephrase.
Like they were,
As long as you do it respectfully.
Spite to me would mean they are doing it specifically to make the guy more angry.
Yes.
You think that was happening?
You remember being a child?
I didn't want to anger people as a child.
So there was never.
Old man who's mad that I was going in his lawn. I would not go in his lawn again.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't, and some people wouldn't, but there's definitely a percentage of people that would.
Children.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a reason Gran Torino's even a movie.
So you think spike strips is a little too far?
I think spike strips is too far.
But you support.
You're basically. I'm not saying I support. I'm saying I understand why he's saying they are doing it out of spite, because I'm sure that they are.
It seems like
not
you,
all of them.
It
some
seems
of
like
them
you
are.
agree with Mr. Steffen's contention.
What would you do
I think
instead?
his contention is fair. The way he went about expressing his contention is not.
Probably not the best way to do it.
I'm not saying he's innocent.
What would you do instead, Shay?
He seems pretty guilty.
What would I do instead? I don't know. It'd be tough. I've never had to deal with that because I don't have a. It's kind of more of a corner lot thing, or you'd have to be cornered to like the public access to this park, would be my guess. And also, kids just don't ride their bikes that much currently where I'm at either. So not as much of an issue.
If this was happening to me, I think I would passive aggressively try to send some sort of a message that I am aware that the children are riding their bicycles on my lawn, and I didn't want them to do that anymore.
Would you put signs with arrows that show the sidewalk?
Something like that. Make it more clear and obvious that the sidewalk should be the route.
What if you come back and they have driven their bike over the sign? And so now the sign is broken in your yard with a tire track on.
I don't go straight to spike strips, but I get more passive aggressive as we go. I don't know what the next move is after that.
You're waiting in your garage to see them do it. You run out of your garage to start yelling, "I see you. I know
That
who
would
you
be it.
are."
I would catch them in the act. I would go on video or something like that, point the cameras directly in that direction
Mhm.
and then find out where they live and send it to their parents.
And then they're riding off and you're just shaking your fist,
Yes.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know at what point they would decide to stop, but I would assume Mr. Steffen went through a lot of different routes before he got to the spike strips. Hopefully he didn't just go basically straight to the spike.
I would put a sensor out there. Just have whenever the kids are nearby, you just play like loud animal, loud dog, or.
Do you think that would work?
Yeah, it could discourage the kids.
It feels like it might not with these kids.
Just have a sign: "Beware of big dog" or something like that.
Beware of big dog.
But you need something to put the sign on. If there was a fence, this wouldn't be an issue.
That's true.
The problem is there's not a fence.
You got to have multiple components. Have the sign and then have loudspeakers hidden. Whenever they're nearby, it'll sense that kids are nearby.
But what we're saying,
someplace.
Joey, is that might not deter them. It seems like this.
I don't know that
particular
anything
group
is
of
going
kids-
to deter them.
Yeah, right. Now, that's probably why he went to spike strips. John writes in on the text line. He says, that sounds like a good way to get rid of the infestation of mini bikes that we're experiencing. Thank you, Steven. Now, I do want to get rid of the mini bikes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on with the bikes, and they're very dangerous.
It's also just weird seeing kids sitting on a bike, but they're not pedaling, but they're moving at a great
I know.
speed.
It doesn't seem fair.
Exactly. It's almost like you're cheating yourself.
You need to ride this bike uphill and decide when you're halfway up the hill that you need to get off the bike and push it. You need to have this experience. You can't just have the bike drive for you.
Agreed.
It's not fair. It's not right.
It just ruins the purpose of the bike.
One Claude Van Layden says pellet gun.
Okay.
I don't think you want to get to that.
I don't know that
The
that's
gun
much better
portion.
than this. That's probably worse than the spike strip.
John says imperceptible wire at head level. Dear God, we're talking about decapitations?
Yeah.
I'm not interested in that either.
Nope.
The spike strips is potentially the least invasive out of those three things that were just mentioned. All right. We'll take a break. Thank you, Joey. Those are the headlines. 8 o'clock hour coming up. Plenty to discuss on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone. On top of your opportunity to join 1620 the golf tournament, which is coming up in a couple of weeks at Miracle Hill, and potentially win a trip to the Oregon game, which once again we announced earlier, you could head to 1620thezone.com and find your way into both of those things right now. We have another thing. How about $5,000 with the 5K preseason plunder? You can enter to win at 1620thezone.com. It's brought to you by Ag Consulting Group. Once again, 1620thezone.com. So many opportunities for you to just win stuff all the time. It's amazing.
We want our we want our listeners to be winners.
It is amazing. We
I almost
love
called
you.
them listeners.
You sometimes like us, and with our repayment, we love you all the time.
Yeah.
Except for when you call into Big Red Overreaction and you're Josh Peterson, and he doesn't want you to call.
We are the dog that you ignore, but we still love you as soon as you come through the
I
door.
am
God, you
Doug.
guys are dumb.
I am Doug, and I love you.
Yeah, we're Doug.
That's exactly.
That should be a thing.
1620 the Doug.
That should
I
be a
love
thing.
you.
That should be a thing for the first Big Red overreaction. Just call into the show. Don't talk about anything related to the game. Just tell the host how much you love them.
And one of the hosts
That'd
is
be nice.
Matt, so I imagine lots of love.
That would be appreciated.
I should call
Many
into the,
LOL.
I should call into the show.
You should.
and
Express my
profess
love.
your,
loves Matt
you
more than
finally
you.
profess your love for Matt.
Yes,
That's been clear the entire time.
it is.
You
Interesting.
could, better yet, you could offer to produce the first Big Red Overreaction.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Joey, come on.
Who said
you
that?
could be right there.
Why don't you
Be in the
produce,
action.
produce something that's not the morning show?
Only for emergencies.
Would you like to do a Creighton game this year?
Only for emergencies.
He's gonna do like 3 Creighton
Oh, yeah.
games at least.
He's gonna be excited.
I'm going
about
to the
it, too.
Gonzaga game. I want to go to the Gonzaga game.
We'll get you to the Gonzaga game, but there's more games than the Gonzaga game.
I
Yeah,
know.
you can produce the Michigan game, or the
Yes!
no.
Las Vegas.
or the Thanksgiving game.
Three Amigos.
I can't do Thanksgiving. My Thanksgiving's early.
Yeah, that means you're open. It means that you're open that day to
Right?
be able to
Famously
produce.
played their Vegas games at like 1:30 against Iowa State and Baylor.
Perfect time for you.
Yeah,
No,
there's nothing else going on.
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Joey, not a team player.
Yeah,
That's
it's
my
weird.
takeaway.
You're gonna do some Creighton games this year.
Only
Don't
for
worry.
emergencies.
All right, back
That's
to Nebraska football from Big Ten Media Days. So there's this idea, the quote from Matt Rule about Dana Holgerson and being able to call plays without a conscience, which is sort of interesting. This was, I mean, along the same lines. He said last year when we were able to win up front, we were able to win the game. Nebraska said of their play in 2025. When we couldn't win up front with our offensive line, we couldn't win the game. It's just that simple. I thought Dana did a really admirable job of adjusting his play calling to what we did well and trying to find a way to win games without a lot of ego, which I don't even know what that is a reference to. Is that a reference to Eckler? He brought that up like multiple times during his 45 minutes off to the side. The winning games without ego thing sort of
Could be a Butler thing.
odd
Could
to
be
me.
Butler had a specific way that he wanted stuff. and
He
it
was big on
you
that
know.
with Eckler, though. Right?
No, I know it
The-
was definitely an Eckler thing.
This
as it related
idea
to
that
the,
like you're doing
for
it
the glory of special teams.
for the
or-
glory of special
Right.
teams.
I don't know that that's necessarily entirely just Eckler. I mean,
Okay.
it could be lots of things. I have no
Oh.
idea. But yeah,
But there's this idea with offense that now, because they have improved offensive line pieces and I don't know, there wasn't any like admission or even a you know, him trying to sell us that they have a better quarterback or anything like that. I think it's we have things that we feel like we can do really well. So now we go out and attack. Like, do you buy that? Nebraska is basically what he's telling us is they are better from a personnel standpoint in a variety of places on offense. So now they should have the ability to do what they want to do. Is that what I'm hearing?
kind of. I mean, when you in the context of the quote of calling plays without conscience, without conscience, it comes back to, I think, Anthony and TJ's athletic ability and Danny's athletic ability to get outside the pocket will allow them to call the game without conscience and go attack as if they were passive by choice. And I don't think they were passive by choice. I think they were passive by just being passive.
Yeah.
I like if it was a choice
some
to
of
be
it is
passive,
their quarterback
why the
is
hell was
passive.
that your choice?
Yeah, I don't
You
know.
know, like and it wasn't now. Some of this is if you're better up front, you're probably not in those 3rd and shorts and 4th and shorts. You've already gotten them, or if you have them, you can get them. You know, and you can do whatever it is you need play calling wise to be able to work off of that. The quarterback run game, it maybe opens up other things that you can attack in ways that you can't. That I absolutely believe. I don't know that what was holding them back was that they were choosing to be passive. They just weren't good enough. I mean, so I don't know that I like accept that there's a whole lot of difference mentally for Dana Holgorsen because of what all of these pieces are.
Yeah.
Now on the field, there is a lot of difference physically. So does that open up avenues for play calling?
I also don't think
hairs a little.
that they're just going to be like better at everything this year.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, so this idea that you have to be good at something in order to do it or to want to do it or to put it in the game plan at all is sort of odd to me. Like I don't know. Off face level, it makes sense. Like, hey, let's do the stuff that we are good at. But how do you get good at stuff without doing it?
Sure.
This is a very weird conversation, but it's a weird quote, I think, as well.
It cuts into the identity thing, right? Like, so some of the conversation there is like, what are you good at? Like, what was Nebraska good at last year through the air? And it was a lot of lateral passes, screen passes to Emmett Johnson out of the backfield, like that sort of thing. Like, that's what they were good at through the air last year. You know, whether that's your identity as an offense or whether, you know, things change dramatically. Now, maybe you can go further down the field because you have a quarterback that's more or less risk averse. So he's willing to do that. Like that all makes sense to me. This idea that last year you couldn't do some of these things.
Right.
Because you chose to be like, I don't know. It's just, maybe that's the idea. Anthony Calandria is more likely to go for the kill than Dylan Raiola was. Maybe that's as simple as it is.
Yeah,
and that more aligns with what Dana Holgorsen wants.
Yeah, is this just a long route to say we feel like we're in a much better spot because we like our quarterback skill set better?
Yeah, but couldn't you just say that?
I don't know. Yeah, they were always very careful with the Dylan
answering questions before the questions get asked.
Yeah.
With some of the commentary, particularly about coaches or, you know, particularly about Nebraska's offense under Matt Rule. Like it's you know, what we were trying to do was this, but we're going to do now. And we definitely can do. And you can believe that we're going to do it because saying we're going to do it. There's just this projection with offense that happens. There's a lot of projection that just happens with Matt Rule.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the projecting of the defensive line or projecting of special teams is going to be good because you got the right guy to fix it. And that guy's Foley, and it didn't work out that way. The projecting after you lose Mike Eckler that special teams will be fine because you know what you're doing with it now. Like, it's just,
and that they get to do it without an ego now.
The people that don't like Matt Rule often point to he just talks, and this is some of what it is. Like, sometimes it feels like he's selling himself by trying to sell other people on the same thing too. And this could be one of those.
Well, and Holgorsen is, I mean, we know what they've been in his first couple years at Nebraska and what he's been, you know, we've been over the numbers of what he's been like from an output perspective as his time as a head coach offensively and ever since that has started and how it's changed. And so people talk about it's not the air raid anymore, but I'm not talking about so much the outputs. Like what can you do that creates some sort of an identity?
How do you want to put a defense in a box? Like, that basically is what it is.
Right.
Like, what are you doing to make their life more difficult? Yeah. Because last year it didn't feel like there was an answer to that question.
And you can't just say everything.
Right. We want to be multiple.
That's what it sounds like they're saying. That's my concern.
I think it's because they don't have a true, like, they're not going to be a ground and pound team. They're not going to be a quarterback run game team. They're not going to be a quick passing game team. They're going to have snippets of all of these different things. And hopefully they execute it better.
That makes me think this is what happened when, you know, when Frost put too much on Adrian Martinez. Like, they were just like, okay, we have some deficiencies. We're not sure if we could go this way. We're not sure if
someone to take the load off of.
We're not sure if we could be this kind of team. So, like, our answer to every question is Adrian. And so that's the way it feels like we're headed with this team. It could work out well.
Right.
But as I've said a million times before, over the last couple of weeks, especially, there's going to be so much on Anthony Calandri. It has the sense to me of Diego Pavia, I guess from last year, where they got good outputs, but there was just so much on his shoulders at all times. You have to hope that the other pieces of the puzzle can hold up their end of the bargain as well. I don't know. I don't know what that is as far as an identity is concerned.
Yeah. It's interesting because so much of it feels like it's set up to be kind of, and obviously of Jeep Wade, set up kind of like what Georgia Tech had been doing, but you didn't have I just looked at this Panthers quarterback Haynes King, who was at Georgia Tech.
People forget, go Panthers.
He ran it 185 times.
He ran way.
You're not doing that.
He was a
Calandri,
runner though,
right? And so that's why there's like elements of this that feel like that to be where, well, we're going to do all of these different things. And then if you had gone and you go out and you get like a bigger running back that's more of a ground and pound type, then it's like, okay, well, maybe they're going to play through their offensive line, but it doesn't feel like they're necessarily doing that either. Because your running backs of Mekhi Nelson and Mosey and Jamal Rule aren't exactly guys that you're loading up to run through. You're not playing Big Ten West football this way either.
So then you look at how this works in the entire picture, right? We have expressed concern about the offense. Then you look at, all right, well, how are you going to win football games then? Maybe the simple answer in the most important one is that they're going to be a team that is going to lean heavily on its defense.
It feels like but that's also what you and I want them to do.
I agree.
Like, so if they're getting back to that and they have some sort of better version of the 2023 offense that comes along with the sort of 2023 defense, which pretty high in the sky aim there, but that I am happy
that's
with
awesome.
That. To be honest, I think that's the blueprint for how it probably needs to work for Matt Rule. Like, you play through your defense and your offense can score you 27 points in Big Ten play, and you're going to win a ton of football games.
Right.
But if your offense scores you 17 points in Big Ten play or 20 points, as it did this last year, you're not going to win a bunch of football games. If your defense also can't keep it low. So it's this is like your needle to thread is kind of hard there if you don't get both of those pieces to line up. And so that's why it was so weird to me in 24, where it felt like you were built like a team that had to play through your offense, and yet, or 25, and yet it never felt explosive. It never became that. Like, you just felt like you middled out this team where, well, we got to go through our offense, but we can only score 22 points a game.
Yeah.
And defensively, we are a bend, don't break. And so teams are going to be on the field for really long periods of time. So we have to be able to score offensively. And instead we have a 11 play, 62-yard drive that ends on a 4th and 1 that we didn't pick up.
That's right.
How are you going to win games that way?
The math has to make sense.
That's, again, like when I think of how it's gone wrong, I don't think there's a great feel for the type of team that you are and how you have to play to win games. Now, if you're committed to a style, which they have chosen not to previously.
You're talking about offensively or just in general?
Just in general. Yeah. Like, if you commit to being one of the reasons that Iowa has success is they know exactly that they are a defensive-oriented team that plays through its defense, special teams, and takes what the offense gives it when it's set up to be successful without trying to do too much.
Yep.
That's their blueprint.
The offense knows what their role is, and their role is simply to not turn the football over.
Nebraska doesn't have to be that. They can be better than that version offensively. But you have to have some sort of lane or avenue as to how you're going to get there. And it can't just be, well, we'll collect all of these different pieces of people or, different players. And then when we need to do this on this game, we can do this. And when we need to do this in this game, like, your talent isn't good enough for that at Nebraska. It might be at other places, but at Nebraska, it's not. Like, you still have to have a lane to go through.
On one hand, the weirdness of having a defensive-oriented football team having their offense coordinated by Dana Holgerson is very, very odd. But it's not like they're going at a super, they're not going breakneck pace or anything like that. So I wonder how that, because the last time they were truly like that, and let's just say it is. Let's just say they lean into their defensive identity.
Right.
Back to what it was, like you said, in 2023. The last time they did that, Marcus Satterfield was their offensive coordinator. And for all of his faults and for how they weren't able to do anything on offense that year, he knew exactly what he was right there for, right? They have to set up and protect the defense. It didn't work because they dropped the football blatantly on the ground like 900 times.
Here you go,
that
sir.
year. Take this football, please.
My name's Jeff, and I don't want this.
Exactly. Now, the idea was there, though. The idea was there. And Marcus Satterfield, I think, was very much okay with this idea of like, yeah, I'll fall in line. You know, I think there's a reason he's still here.
Yeah.
Right. Because he is one of those guys. I don't know how that works with Dana Holgerson. I don't know.
Right. Well,
Dana Holgerson has never been. Has he been the head coach, or has he been the head coach or offensive coordinator of a defensive-oriented football team?
To my knowledge, no. Some of the teams at the end,
right? Yeah, right.
Some of the teams at the end have played a much more balanced, thing.
The offense has taken more of a back seat than at the beginning of his career, but I don't know if it's ever been like, it's all you guys.
Right.
I am here to serve you. That has never. So maybe that's what he's talking about when he's talking about Colin without ego, or whatever.
It could be that there's an element of it too. Then this is kind of where I get hung up with what you're trying to do offensively. Okay, you want to play through your defense, all of that kind of thing. Why are you investing so much money at wide receiver? Like, why is wide receiver this area that you have, whether it's high school with Ja'Cory Barney, or you go out and you get Dane Key and Isaiah Hunter, and now Quasi Gilmer, and before that, Ja'Cory Barney and Isaiah Nair, and you've invested a lot of your NIL at wide receiver, and yet when push comes to shove and you have to be able to air it out and be more of a passing team because in 24 you don't have that running attack completely established, or in 25 you have to be a better offensive team because where you are defensively, that doesn't come to fruition. What was the point of getting all of these wide receivers? Like, this is where the roster building has to line up with what it is that you're trying to do, with where your allocations of resources need to make the most sense.
And they didn't go out and get a running back either.
That's also why it's like, okay, I can accept if you thought running back prices were high and you didn't like any of these guys more than what you already had, you did the next thing that makes the most sense. You use that money on offensive linemen. That makes a ton of sense to me. But why was Quasi Gilmer this big, important piece for you in this offseason when you have Cortez Mills and Quinn Clark and Keelan Smith, and you like Larry Miles, and you have Nallin Scott, and you have all of these different people coming in, and you already have Isaiah Hunter and Ja'Cory Barney, and you're going to get Janiron Bonner back? Like, it's weird. Like, it's trying to.
They would tell you, their answer to that question would be, well, he's a good player, and we thought he was a good player, and we thought he could help us. It's simple as that. It is great, and that idea, that rationale is not bad. But once again, it, like what you're saying, is this big picture.
Holistically, what is it that you're building to?
And would it serve that purpose to add another dynamic wide receiver on top of the two dynamic wide receivers that we already know that we have? Right. Instead of a dynamic running back, or instead of, whatever, a big honking defensive lineman, or something like that.
Whatever you're choosing to use at wide receiver, you're taking away from the overall pot to use somewhere else.
Right.
So if you're invested in your wide receivers, which is a totally fine strategy, then your offense needs to reflect that. So when you can't complete passes inside the red zone to any of these wide receivers that you spend money on, and it's impossible for you to get the ball to Dane Key inside the 5-yard line, you're failing on a lot of fronts, because that money is being wasted when it could have went to an offensive lineman that maybe helps you, or a running back that helps you, or on the other end of things, a defensive end that gets you off the field faster, or whatever it is. That's why the alignment of what it is you're trying to build versus the pieces that you are collecting, it just strikes me as odd.
Still TBD.
It's still odd. Like the Trey Taylor thing is, if you go to a more defensive oriented team and Trey Taylor is your quarterback, are you going
to be an offensive team? Yeah.
Right.
Because Trey Taylor didn't come here to score 17 points a game.
In theory, no.
He didn't come here to be a turn around and hand the ball
and
off guy.
Neither did Dylan. And yet at the same time, like, your offense didn't.
Well, that's when it changed. I mean, that's when it got really confusing.
And so, again, you have to have your resources lined up in the direction of which the team is supposed to go. And I feel like Nebraska wants to do everything. They want to collect talented players, even if it doesn't necessarily fit the puzzle in front of their face.
Do a couple things.
Right.
Not everything.
All right. Maybe this is what he's talking about. Maybe whatever their conscience is clear now, that you can just do whatever you want with your offense. I'm just wondering if what you did in the offseason lines up for what you want to put on the field.
402-951-1620. I would love it to get your guys' thoughts on that. Also tweeted us at Happen Schaefer on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. More thoughts on things of that nature from Tim Verghese, our dear friend from inside Nebraska. He joins the show next on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. Happer and Schaefer rolls on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer with you just a minute or two before 8:30 on this Monday morning. It's the perfect time to be joined by our good friend Tim Verghese from inside Nebraska. Tim, good morning to you. How are we doing today?
Good morning. How we doing?
We're doing very good. Camp is here. Do you have any strong opinions on what to refer to this this block of practices as for Nebraska? Is it training camp? Is it fall camp? Is it something else entirely? Or do you care at all about this?
Oh, it doesn't really matter to me. I've been calling it fall camp, but I didn't know this is a topic of discussion.
It is for some reason.
It can be.
Because there's this move to like, you know, it's more of an NFL style, so people are starting to call it training camp now.
And then some people get mad because it's college football, not NFL football, and it's supposed to be fall camp. And then some people don't like the seasonal aspect of fall, even because it's still summer. There's just a lot happening with the semantics of it, Tim.
I'd say just stick with whatever you're going with if you don't care, which we certainly do not on the show as well. All right. Tim Verghese is with us. So we were just talking about this. We'll just loop you into this conversation. Broad, general question. What do you think Nebraska is attempting to do on offense this year? I mean, this is it. Like I said, it's a broad question. You can kind of take it anywhere. We were just trying to square up what the offense's role is for Nebraska for them to win football games this year. What would you say it is if you had to describe it?
Yeah, you know what's interesting? I mean, I was actually thinking about coming out of Big Ten Media Days as well, and I feel like there's a sense of their identity, they want to be running behind their pads a little bit. You know, they want to play physical. They think they have an offensive line that, you know, and I thought they had an offensive line that could, you know, set a tone pretty consistently in the run game last year, but they feel they have an offensive line that can set the tone regardless pretty consistently this fall. Obviously, we'll see what that looks like on a game-to-game basis. There's going to be games where they won't have the advantage in the trenches. I think about Oregon. I wonder about Indiana. That one's a push for me. I wonder about Ohio State and Iowa, of course. And so we'll see what happens, but what this actually looks like on a game-to-game basis. But they believe they have an offensive line that you know, can legitimately move guys off the ball, can legitimately, you know, I mean, I think they believe they can get positive yardage on just about every carry, you know, this fall with what that offensive line, what they believe that offensive line can be. Now, what I'm interested to see is what that balance looks like in terms of getting the receivers and the vast majority of, I mean, just the amount of options they have at pass catcher, getting those guys involved. I mean, you know, I can close my eyes and I can envision, hey, they're playing in a condensed set, and you have Isaiah on one side, and you have Quasi on the other side, and you're running kind of a long developing route that, both those guys for both of those guys, and then underneath you have, you know, whether that's Luke Sorensen and Luke Lindenmeyer underneath, whatever that looks like underneath, you have some options, but just think about the personnel they have. You know, I mean, I've seen some of this hand-wringing about what is Carter Nelson going to do this fall. I think Carter Nelson's role is going to be pretty similar to what Jenner Bonner's role is going to be. And those are two guys that I think are pretty forgotten when we talk about what this offense looks like, who's going to be used, kind of where Nebraska is going to target on the field in the passing game. We don't really talk about, I would say Bonner. I mean, Carter Nelson's been a topic of discussion as of late, but we don't really talk about Bonner like that. And I think about what Dana Holgerson said after his injury, before his injury, and how important he was to what they wanted to run offensively. And so, yeah, I get the sense they want to be a run first team that, you know, is able to move the chains and create explosive plays in the passing game. It's going to be different, though. I mean, I just kind of get the sense it's going to be different than what we've seen the last few years. The dual threat element obviously is in there, but for me, what I come back to is they want to be. It very much sounds like they want to be a team that running the ball and being physical in the trenches is their identity, at least offensively.
So if that's the case, if you know, we'll stick with this. If they want to be a team that's running the ball and be physical in the trenches, does that make Jamal Rule sort of the obvious guy that would lead the team in carries, assuming health for everybody at the running back position?
I don't know if it's obvious. But I mean, I
He
mean,
fits
I
that
put it up
mold
in-
the best, I feel like, out of that group, though.
I agree, and I mean, I put it up in recruiting blitz. I mean, for me, it still wouldn't surprise me if he may not start the year as the starting running back, but come November, if he's the one taking the Lions,
Kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, essentially, he finishes the year, kind of leading off in carries. That wouldn't surprise me necessarily. But I do wonder about Mekhi Nelson now that he has been cleared and all of that's been cleared of. He's been the guy. They've kind of been keeping him patient and waiting for him. And the talk about him behind the scenes is kind of been like, oh, he's ready to take the next step. He's ready to take that step forward. And then we had not the injury, but the legal issue in earlier this summer, and so obviously that threw a wrench in things. But if he's back and if he's healthy and he's pretty locked in and hasn't really gotten too distracted. I wonder about Mekhi Nelson. I think he's the only one in there. Isaiah Mosey is going to have a role. I just don't know this fall, in his second year in the program, if Isaiah Mosey is going to have a role of, hey, I'm the bell cow back. I don't think he develops to that point. I still think he needs another year to get to that point.
Tim Verghese from Inside Nebraska is with us. Okay, so if you're going to be that kind of team, and you're going to have a lot better of a defense than you did last year, especially to end the year when things got off the rails a little bit. Given that we now have a complete picture, right? The personnel that they've added, their coordinator, and what they're going to try and do. New defensive line coach. Now the only thing it's missing is we haven't seen it for a string of practices yet outside of the spring. Is the defense in a position to have the lion's share of the load put on their shoulders this year? Is Nebraska in a position to be able to win games defensively in 2026?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. It's interesting. I think you mentioned, it puts some pressure on the defense. I kind of wonder if Nebraska's goal, and I mean, just my personal belief on this is, I think they want to be able to, more so than they did last year, dominate that time of possession conversation and, steal as many possessions as possible. And so, but defensively, yeah, I mean, a lot of it's going to come down to, of course, at front, what they get. I know there's some confidence in the added depth in the room, in the top end of the room. For everybody, it's going to be a wait and see type deal. I mean, this is a unit where I don't think we can project, especially what we saw last year. We can't project we can't project anybody taking a sizable step forward without actually seeing it, and so, but that all said, I think the 4 down front, Rob Orich owning this system, I think that alone provides a benefit for Nebraska. I think the 4 down front fits the personnel they have in the room a little better. I think for the ends in particular, I think about Williams and Renari. I think about Anthony Jones. I think about Cam Leonard and some of those guys. Their roles and what they have to do, the scope of what they're looking for and what they have to do snap to snap, it's reduced. They're playing in a more condensed role. That's better for those guys. I think they're going to be able to play faster, play a little more loose. Along the interior, it's the same deal, and there's just a priority and an emphasis on getting vertical, and getting into the backfield and creating pressure. And so I think just off the fact of having a defensive coordinator that knows the system inside and out, knows exactly where people need to be in the run fit and is able to pair that with what the coverage responsibilities look like and know what that look like, regardless of the look, regardless of what, the post-snap look is going to change. Regardless of what that post-snap look looks like, he knows where everyone needs to be. He has an understanding of that. I think he can keep everyone accountable through the season on that. That alone will help the defense. But I think the key for Nebraska getting off the field more, stopping points and winning games defensively, beyond the obvious of they need better defensive line play. I am really, really interested. And we talked about the new linebacker additions a lot. I really think the room we see the biggest turnaround from this fall is going to be that linebacker room. Yeah. And it's not just the guys that they added in Owen Chambliss, Dexter Foster, and Will Hawthorne, but I think what does this year look like for Vincent Shavers? He's worked on his body. He's found a role for himself within this defense. What does this look like for a Pierce Newberry? What does this look like for, a Derek Wacker and some of those guys in that room that, I wonder about a Dawson Merritt. He's someone I'm very fascinated what fall camp looks like for Dawson Merritt. You know, he's someone for me I can see working in at edge. I can see working in at linebacker. He's got some bend to him. He's got some explosiveness to him. He's developed into that frame where, you know, size was a big concern with him coming out of high school. Hardly a concern now. He looks the part of a power 4 linebacker now. And so really interested to see what fall camp looks like for him, where he's moving around, where they have him playing. But I'm expecting big things from that linebacker room, and they're going to need that room to be ready to go to cover ground if they want to get better at run deep this fall.
Hey Tim, you put this up on the site on Inside Nebraska over there, and I know it's early yet, but how are things looking? 2028 quarterback after getting Trey Taylor this past year.
Yeah, it's a search that's developing in a way that it should be expected considering what Trey Taylor's become. But considering what some of these quarterbacks said when they visited Nebraska, I think some of the recent developments have been a little interesting. So, look, Trey Taylor officially kind of has had this rise to 5-star status. He's had this rise to number 1 quarterback in the country. You know, the NIL numbers on what Nebraska's paying him and what Nebraska's expected to pay him when he gets to campus are out there as well. These recruits, they take notice, and I think it's worth noting, you know, the modern quarterback, the blue chip quarterback recruit, they're advised to find not just the best spot for them, they're advised to find a spot that they can see the field early. It's all about playing time. It's all about getting game tape for these guys or quality practice tape for these guys. And so the path to the field is something that's important. So Nebraska, you know, I thought Glenn Thomas did a really good job. He's had a head start. But he's done a really good job of expanding that board and figuring out, okay, who makes sense to be the next in line guy after Trey Taylor. The problem is some of those guys he identified. One is Jackson Carper. Carper's also being recruited by Arizona and UCLA. And UCLA in particular did not take a 2027 quarterback. In 2028, he's one of their priority targets. And so there's a wide open runway for a player like Carper to jump in and take over that job. They also have an offer out to, and another target of theirs is Owen Herrick, who he's higher on Illinois and Ole Miss at this point. I think those two programs are in better position than Nebraska at this point to land his commitment. He's working towards a decision by the end of fall. And I think he's someone who, if he doesn't get back to Lincoln here this fall, it's hard for me to see Nebraska being a true option at the table. And then the last top target at this point for Nebraska is 4-star quarterback Anthony Turner out of Virginia Beach, Lanston High School. He stands 6'3", 185 pounds. He's a fascinating athlete. But his tape, I think, is something that's still coming together. I think he's someone who, you know, a lot of programs are projecting based on the athleticism and some of the flashes, but not necessarily the overall body of work to this point. And so there's a give and take with that. On one hand, he's someone who Nebraska, he's expected to make his first visit in September. Nebraska makes a strong push and makes a strong first impression. They have a real chance of sticking around to that recruitment. But what happens with a guy like this, you're already starting to see it, is you've already seen some of these big 2028 dominoes fall. And so you're seeing some of these power programs circling back on him. At this point with Anthony Turner, you know, LSU is monitoring very closely. Clemson monitoring very closely. Some of these programs that have already missed on their top guy or their top guys to this point in the 27 cycle or 2028 cycle are circling back on him. Notre Dame is someone who their quarterback search in 28 is going to impact a few other programs. That's one of those big dominoes in the 2028 cycle. They've missed out on a few different quarterback targets already. And so whoever they end up taking, whoever they decide, is going to have an impact on a few different people. And so I say all that to say Nebraska has some options. They've done well, but having Trey Taylor committed is going to be a barrier on getting a blue chip quarterback in, because more than likely than not, those guys want to play. More likely than not, that guy's going to want to play in year one. And so I'm starting to wonder as we enter the season if Nebraska's 2028 quarterback is a guy who doesn't have an offer just yet, probably hasn't visited just yet, and someone that they have to do their due diligence and really do some thorough evaluations moving over the next few months and figure out, okay, who's this high floor guy? I would say this is a perfect cycle to go find your Lincoln Kienholz. You know, go find your development quarterback. Go look into go scour in Missouri. Go scour in Kansas or the Dakotas and find a guy that makes sense.
No doubt. Tim Verghese from Inside Nebraska. All right, Tim, great stuff as always. Appreciate the time and the conversation, and have a great week.
Of course, appreciate you guys.
All right, check out Tim at InsideNebraska.com. Also, tons of recruiting stuff. I think he makes a good point about the barrier that, Trey Taylor
Yeah, it's always fascinating to me.
creates. It was the same way with Raiola.
Yeah, TJ Lateef is the guy. And then you could end up in a scenario where TJ Lateef is at Nebraska for a long time because he likes it here and they're invested in him. And that's a valuable thing.
Yep, no doubt.
Definitely a valuable thing.
Quick break. We'll be back in a quick peruse through the old magazines when we come back on 1620 The Zone. A few things going on as the MLB trade deadline warms up a little bit. We'll cover that, among other things, in free balling in just a couple minutes. But now time for our other balls segment, where we get the balls out, and that determines which page we flip to in the old magazine. How many balls would we like? 4? 4. 13, 33, 8, 7.
61.
Yep. You got it.
Who's on page 61? Who's
It
that?
is the Big Ten preview.
Oh,
We've done this one before.
All right, go to the next page.
Next page
Is it just going to be like
Oregon.
we've already done them.
Just go. All right. Let me add
We'll
one more
do
ball.
something in
Let
the
me
Big
add another
Ten.
ball. Let me add another
Okay.
ball.
Yeah.
Hang on. Add 15. 70.
76.
That's still a Big Ten team.
we know, but have we talked Iowa on this show?
No, we've not.
Let's
We've not.
go.
We've not.
All right. Few programs have built up a track record like Ferentz and Phil Parker at Iowa. Even with another round of draft picks to party, you know what to expect. Powerful offensive line, elite tight end room, workhorse running back, a swarming defense, and nation's best special teams. While this is a younger two deep than usual and low on transfer additions, Iowa will remain in the Big Ten upper half until proven otherwise.
It's hard for me to disagree.
It's an Iowa preview that sounds like an Iowa preview.
I am more of I'm going to respect Iowa, and you cannot never make me unrespect Iowa guy than you.
Sure.
I would say. Because I would agree completely with that sentiment. And not only because I agree with the sentiment of like they're always good, so they're just gonna keep being good, but also because I have too much respect for the way that they are able to do it every single year, and it's foolproof, right? Like the schedule is what the schedule is. They play Ohio State, Michigan, and Washington in back-to-back weeks, which is a challenge. I mean, Michigan, Ohio State, and Washington, 2 of those being on the road. Then a bye week, then Minnesota. But it's hard for me to envision a world where they win less than 9 games.
That's not hard for me to envision less than 9. Like, I don't think they're going to bottom out. I don't think they're going to be like a 5-7 team, but it wouldn't shock me if they're 7-5. It wouldn't shock me if their offense, which had a nice bump last year with Gronowski, takes a huge step back with the quarterback situation that might be the worst in the conference.
Well, I don't disagree that they're going to suck on offense.
And I don't know, defensively, they have to do more reloading than usual. Now they're very good at that. They obviously can go from, linebacker to linebacker to linebacker to linebacker, and they'll probably do it again. How quickly it all comes together. They're sort of fascinating because the hard part of their schedule feels like it's early. And then after that bye week, it's at Minnesota, Wisconsin, at Northwestern, Purdue, at Illinois, Nebraska. All of those are winnable for them, even with the bad quarterback and a defense that's still finding itself. So if they build and you're 3-3, and then, I don't know if they go 6-0 in that finish, but 8-4, 7-5 seems like very possible.
In a world, 8-4, 7-5. I mean, I can see 8-4, 7-5 seems highly unlikely to me. I mean, just pretty highly unlikely.
The reason you get there is basically they go 0-3 against Michigan through Washington,
which is possible, but then they still need to lose 2 more,
right?
Which I don't know, man. They have quite the track record of consistently.
No, they definitely do, and the teams of which they would be playing there is just a Big Ten West.
So and they do have the
knowledge base of how to play all of those teams the exact same way.
And they have the nice little added bonus of knowing they're going to get each of Minnesota, Nebraska, and Wisconsin every single year.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's been underrated a little bit in their, they got them as protected games every single year. They are the only school in the Big Ten with 3.
Right.
That matters. Not saying that they've got off easy or anything like that, but the schedule part of it certainly does matter. I just think in a world that we live in now, where I just feel like the consistency piece and the continuity piece matters more than ever. Iowa's the perfect team to use as an example.
Sure.
I think it matters more now than it ever has, especially early in the season, where teams are the exact opposite. They're trying to figure out who they are and all these different things. And they'll win all their close games. I don't know. I'd say in the neighborhood of 9 or 10.
Yeah. Oh, they're not winning 10 games. I would take that bet right now.
I'm not saying they're going to win 10
Right.
games either, but
Sure. Oh, did you see the look ahead line for Nebraska, Iowa for Black Friday?
I did not. What is it?
Plus 10 if you're Nebraska.
Okay, I'd take Nebraska.
I would take Nebraska.
Yeah, I'd take Nebraska to cover
Like that
for
feels
sure.
high.
Yeah, that's mega high. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. The 9 o'clock hour is up on the other side. We have topics that we haven't got to, and we'll call it free balling right after this on 1620 The Zone.
It's time for Free Balling, where the producer reads questions on things happening in the world of sports. Connor and Mike will have the answers.
Matt Rule is on Pardon My Take today. I bet people will have to pardon their takes about Matt Rule on Pardon My Take.
Will they really pardon them, though?
Well, they might want him pardoned.
Good luck with
after
that, Dan.
They tweet him, and then they look back at themselves like, what was I thinking? Why did I say something crazy about that? He was just a guy going on a podcast. And I'll say, I don't know. And you're not pardoned.
Yeah.
But
you got very angered about something that did not really impact anything at all.
I can't wait to see what he says and then what people say about it. But we have topics, Joey. What are we getting to today?
Yes, we do. The starting pitching market after Scoobo opened up over the weekend. Kevin Gausman to the Cubs. Freddie Peralta to the Rays. Luis Castillo to the White Sox. Tyler Mahle to the Braves. Jose Soriano to the Blue Jays. More movement expected. Which one works out best?
Brooks Raley is on the move this morning, if anybody cares about that. The Phillies have also acquired Luis Ariz from the Giants, not a pitcher, but a player who hits lots of singles. Predictable that the pitching market just completely exploded immediately after the
Everyone's like, okay, the Scooble thing is set. Now we can trade our, there's the A guy. We'll trade our C's and our C pluses right now.
Exactly. I mean, the trade deadline is weird because I feel like it's both more and less impactful than it used to be when the playoffs weren't gigantic.
Sure.
Like from a lot of teams are doing a lot of different things, but it feels like they all have the ability to both buy and sell at the same time. Like nobody goes like full measure and says, I'm going to make the biggest acquisition ever. That's never really been what the deadline's been there for. But now it just feels like everybody thinks they're in it. So everybody's still buying to a certain extent. The Blue Jays are buying.
Yeah,
the Blue Jays.
They're in a division in which 3 teams ahead of them are the 3 best teams by record in the American League.
And they're like, you know what? We still want more guys. We're going for it.
So of the group here, I think Freddie Peralta probably could have the greatest impact of any of them. Maybe Kevin Gausman with the Cubs, but Peralta to the Rays, it gives them another really strong pitcher. He hasn't been good though since he got traded from the Brewers to the Mets, so kind of needs to turn his whole thing around.
Yeah,
but Tampa's awful stadium helps all the pitchers because nobody can see in there. So maybe Freddie Peralta will play up because of it.
Maybe. What else, Joey?
The Athletic Stuart Mandel took a tour of Northwestern's new stadium. No, he was not guided by Chip Kelly, but he pointed out that there's a student section without seats. Ryan Field will have an, in quotes, safe standing area that houses 2,000 people and is modeled after European soccer supporter sections. That's all well and good, but does Northwestern have 2,000 students that know there's a football team?
Maybe some days.
Some days they might.
Do they
Most
give them?
days I assume they don't.
Do they give them rails or anything like that, or is it just pile them in there?
I think it's they have them in there. I don't know that there's rails or anything to stand on that allows them to be higher, but I think it's a field level section.
I always felt like they
safe standing zone.
They could really easily do the spots where you stand in the stadiums, but they have the little tables.
Oh yeah,
in front of them too. I always feel like that'd be a good thing. It would probably take away from the impactful environment where you're trying to just absolutely jam people in there.
Yeah, I think they're looking more for the jamming, the safe standing with jamming.
Okay, but most of the time it's not a jam situation.
No, lots of space.
It's a chilling situation for the most part in Northwest.
2,000 students is about as big as their basketball arena, I think, too, total.
Nice.
In terms of
I think it probably holds a little bit more than that.
It's probably close to 6.
Yeah.
But still.
You're a Northwestern hater.
I like to make fun of Northwestern.
I think I love their stadium. Everything that I think they did it the right way. They cut it down to 35,000 or whatever.
They weren't adding capacity.
No, they did not need to. And then still opposing fans will take over. It'll be a great place for opposing fans to take over. It's like
Nebraska fans, the first time that Nebraska plays at
Next
the new
year.
stadium will absolutely pack that thing.
100%. This will be
There'll probably be more Nebraska fans in the student section for Northwestern than there
Definitely.
would be Northwestern.
This will be the miniature version of what happens with the Raiders every week.
That's pretty good.
It's perfect. It's
That's
perfect
pretty
for
good,
road teams to take over because it's not a giant place.
Either that or any LA team.
You can get to Chicago easily enough.
Yeah,
And then
100%.
take the
Direct
what is
flight.
it? Is it the purple line that goes to
That I
to
don't know.
Evanston?
I've never been to Evanston.
Really?
Never been up that way.
All right. You are definitely not missing out.
That's what I've heard. All right.
More football stuff, Connor, just for you. Former defensive lineman J.J. Watt is now working with Jim Nantz as the CBS #1 broadcast team. Oh, gee, I wonder why. Here it is. It's because Tony Romo had a DUI last week. The move hasn't been announced as permanent, but do you think we've seen the end of Romo and Nantz together? Geez, I don't know, Jim.
It's hard to say. Really, I don't know. It's hard to say because I don't know if CBS was soured on the Nance Romo thing, or if this is just like an opportunity to say, "Hey, we're going to suspend you, but you'll be back for the regular season and everything's fine." I don't know.
There's an interesting article on The Athletic from Andrew Marchland where it sounds like CBS was already starting to sour on Romo as it was anyways.
So now's the perfect
and
time.
that like JJ Watt's viewed as this next big potential star.
That makes
similar
sense.
to kind of like the offensive version of a Greg Olson where it's not a quarterback, but you're getting a really football savvy, broadcast friendly guy. It seems Nance and Watt could be a really good pairing. And I could just see CBS going with that.
I'm looking
The
forward to
bigger
it.
talk
Funny 'cause
is they're committed to Romo, like they signed a 10-year deal.
I know, yeah.
And they like Romo might not be even put with like Iron Eagle or anything. He might get pushed
Just be
way
gone.
down the lineup.
JJ Watt and Iron Eagle was a pretty good combo though.
Right.
It's funny. So I don't love how they do that all the time, where they're just like mix guys around like it's fantasy football. Like chemistry, I think matters on these broadcasts, but you know they always find a way to figure it out.
It's almost always the second guy, the color guy,
right?
Because you sort of have your defined roles for the play-by-play.
Yeah, and they mix them around and they find a way. I'm gonna say that we still see more of Tony Romo.
I think we'll see Tony Romo. I just don't think it's going to be Romo and Nance. I think that might be done.
The body cam footage was crazy. That's so ridiculous.
Amazing.
So ridiculous. All right, what else?
Last one, guys. Connor, this is just for you. Connor and Mike, you're baseball guys. How do you feel about bunt attempts when the opposing pitcher is deep into a perfect game or no-hit bid?
I would really rather them not do that. But if you're going to make it painfully obvious that you're allowing, you're not prepared for it, and it comes within the flow of the game, then great. I don't know. It's one of those weird unwritten rules of baseball. That,
For me, it's basically like your job is to defend whatever gets hit. So ultimately, if it's a bunt, whatever. Yesterday, hilarious. They're trying to do a rain delay, basically, and the bullpens and everything, they spill out around home plate, and they're yelling at each other. And the people putting the tarps on are like, hey, kind of need you to get out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's kind of just ends all of the tension of this moment. And then after the game, everyone was complaining.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I don't know. Like,
it was my team, and I was unbothered by the fact that there was a bunt.
If you
And it went foul,
as
by
a
the way. Then he hit a
player-
single, so it didn't matter.
If you as a player, you're best equipped to get on base via a butt single, then that's your way to get on base.
Right. I think it's a weird thing to be mad about. Their job is to get on base. Your job is to not allow them.
I get it, but also
This is a ninth inning with 2 outs. Sure.
I get it, but it's not worth clearing the benches over.
Agreed.
How about that? Very few
100%
things,
agreed with that.
Very few things in baseball actually are worth clearing the benches over, but it happens all the time.
It does.
Dudes just walking out there saying, "Hey, what's
A
up,
lot
man?"
of people that got ejected over the weekend.
Some
Coaches that got
ejections.
ejected. They stopped an argument with the Astros and the Rangers game to allow God Bless America to play.
Yes.
And then as soon as it ended, Skip
They started
Schumacher
fighting
started
again.
yelling and then got tossed.
Awesome. We love baseball, folks.
It's great.
Compartmentalization. They do it very, very well. All right. That'll do it for our free balling segments. When we come back, We'll be joined by our good friend Michael Bruntz from Husker 24/7 coming up on 1620 The Zone.
Broncos country, let's ride.
The Bronx is back in town. The Bronx is back in town. I said the Bronx is back in town. The Bronx is back in town. The Bronx is back in town. Bronx is back in town. The Bronx is back in town. Bronx is back in town.
Michael Brooks, Husker 24/7 on Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone.
All right, joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline by our good friend Michael Bruntz from Husker 24/7. Bruntz, good morning. How are you?
Doing well. How are you guys on this fine day?
On this fine day, we are good. We're just wondering about so many different things today. We have so many questions that we're wondering about, like is there anybody who's going to take advantage of this newfound eligibility for seniors who are coming back, and what is Nebraska going to do on offense? All questions that we're asking ourselves today.
That's a lot of questions.
It is. Maybe we should ask you one specific one. Is there anybody in the baseball sphere who could take advantage of this newfound rule and eligibility that just popped up the other day?
I mean, there are. I don't know if there will be. I don't know. Like it's hard because, the initial stuff around the ruling was, oh man, there's going to be thousands of people in the transfer portal. It's going to be chaos. And then it didn't do anything to change the roster limits or rev share stuff or any of that. So I don't know. I would be very surprised if there's anything that happens baseball wise. I don't know. Here's what else we don't know yet is I don't know what the appetite is from a lot of schools' perspective to bring in people like, that fit this category. You know what I mean? So I don't know. And even, football wise, there's Kevin Gallick, I think he fits it. The long snapper who graduated.
But they already have a long snapper.
They got a long snapper. So I don't know. I don't think there's going to be a ton of movement there. And even with baseball, I mean, a guy like Caleb Clark, I think would fit it. I think Jalen Worthley would fit it. But there's just not nowadays. There's just not a lot of guys that go through and don't redshirt. I mean, in baseball, I know there are more of those guys, but Nebraska baseball, I think, has 44 or 45 guys on their roster right now before they even get to fall practices. So there's not a ton of room at the table left over.
Bruntz, when you were in Chicago, did you hear anything from any of the people representing Nebraska there, whether it Matt Rule or the players? I don't know if Dannon spoke or not, but was there anything that you heard in Chicago as part of Big Ten Media Days that made you change any singular opinion you had about anything related to Nebraska football?
I told BC, we were driving back, and we were like, where were we? We were like almost to Des Moines on I-80. And I told him, I said, I'm actually pretty excited for the start of fall camp.
Wow.
And it was, I don't know that it was anything necessarily that I heard in Chicago that made me feel differently one way or another about things. But I guess to fit into your theme of the day with having a lot of questions, I got a lot of questions about how this is all going to fit together, what this is going to look like, and I'm kind of excited to see it play out a little bit. And I understand that, that there's still the drudgery of things like Fan Day. There's 4 weeks of fall camp football ahead, but I am eager to get rolling on football here. And I don't know if it's just because the long season, at least from a football perspective, was exceptionally long, or what, but I'm eager to get rolling on it. Did anything that I heard there change my opinions on what Nebraska can be? I think I'm at least willing to listen a little bit more to the offensive line conversation, how good they can potentially be. But I don't know that I had any aha type moments while I was there.
Did you feel like you worked in your quota of fugitive references?
I did.
Okay.
I was actually hoping that at some point when I was riding the blue line on Wednesday night, that I would have had somebody walk me off the train at gunpoint because I was on that thing for an hour and 45 minutes. I'd never experienced public transportation delays quite like that before. But yeah, I think I worked in an appropriate but not egregious amount of fugitive reference.
Yeah, you always find the moderate, the sweet spot.
Did you work in an egregious amount of Malort at any point?
I did not. Because of my troubles on the L, I didn't get to the hotel till after midnight, and then I didn't leave the hotel until BC and I left to go back to Nebraska. So it was a business trip, just like the Chicago Bulls back in 1993. We only packed one suit, and so that it was a quick trip.
All right,
Lord for this guy.
This is good. I mean, but you got the job done. Did you? I heard getting out was a little bit of a struggle with the incoming Lollapalooza situation. What did we interact with that at all?
It wasn't bad.
Okay.
We didn't have any issues. BC actually found a really great parking spot downtown. He showed an appropriate amount of patience for the people walking around trying to get to Lollapalooza. But he was aggressive when he needed to be, and we had no issues.
Good job. Okay, now we can get back to football. Though we got that ground covered, which is good. We talked about this earlier, and we asked Tim, our other guest today, a similar question: is Nebraska's defense ready to be put in a position where it is once again sort of like the breadwinner of the team? Like you could.
I like that phrasing.
You could put it on. Nebraska is a defensive oriented team. Is the defense prepared to be a defensive oriented team this year?
I think that they are at a couple of the levels. I think linebacker wise, they're ready. I think the secondary will be fine. I am curious about the defensive line. Like I think as much as I am willing to listen and go along with the offensive line being much improved, I think I still have an equal amount of question about the defensive line and what that's going to be. Matt Rule's saying that they want to play potentially 8 up front. I mean, I think that's a good target. Do they have 8 right now? I don't know. I think they can get close to that number, but I do wonder though if there is. It feels like on the defensive side of the ball, more often than not, you get a little bit of like a coordinator bounce, a coordinator change bounce.
Yeah.
Like you get Tony White in the first year, you get Bo Pelini in 2003, which I understand is way back, but like that same kind of
Bob Diaco in 2017.
Well, hey, they punted pretty darn well.
Different kind of bounce. Okay.
But I think if you can find the right guy in that spot and you can kind of rally guys to play a particular way, I think you can kind of turn things more easily on defense, especially if you have guys in the right spot. Like going back a couple of years ago to when Tony White took over, I mean, there was a dramatic uptick in the way that Nebraska tackled. Like they got instantly better there. Nebraska has changed over. Not only Rob Orich, they've got completely new coaches across the defensive front. I think that's where you need to see that bounce. You need to get guys playing well up front. And so are they ready to be the breadwinners? We'll see. I mean, I don't know that I'm 100% on that, but I do think there's potential for them to be much better in areas where they need to be, particularly against the run. I think they can be better. They have to be better in red zone defense, and they have to be able to force more turnovers. And those are areas where Orich's defenses in the past have been able to kind of flip pretty quickly. So it's at least worth entertaining there, I think.
So, Bruns, was there a place? So one of the things that happens with media days, you get the chance to talk with players, and one of the common questions is to have them talk about other players that have caught their eye through summer workouts or spring workouts. Was there a name or two that you heard throughout one of those player sessions of a player that you're maybe a little bit more intrigued by, or someone that you kind of wrote down and you want to know more about this fall camp or throughout practice leading into the season?
Yeah, I was kind of hanging out with Justin Evans for most of the player session, and he talked. The first guy that he brought up was Claude Puma, the freshman left tackle, and a couple reasons that he was brought up. One, Claude Puma is a large human being. He's depending on what you believe for what he's listed at. Nebraska lists him at 6'8". I know that he was a hair over 6'5" in January, so he's somewhere between 6'5" and 6'8" right now. But he's well over 300 pounds. He's got a wingspan that's almost 7 feet. I think he was 6'11" on the wingspan back at the Navy All-American Bowl in January. And the other thing that Nebraska did with him is they threw him right into the mix during the spring. Part of that was just because I think they were a little bit lacking at depth tackle spot with guys like Gunnar Gatula were out and things like that. But I think he's an incredibly high ceiling player. He's only played. This is his third year of organized football, and he's has a basketball background, so he's got good feet. But Justin Evans was really pretty high on what he could be, going forward. Are you going to need to rely on him this year? Not out of the gate. No, I mean, you've got Elijah Pritchett at that left tackle spot. He's your starter, unquestionably. But I think for that recruiting class that was pretty small that came in January, I think he's a guy that you definitely need to put a star by the name and kind of follow, because at least physically, he looks the part, and you're also, have a pretty high ceiling based on just, how new he is still to the game of football.
All right, Bruns, we will let you go. Thanks for giving us a heads up on that. Hanging out with Justin Evans really paid off. Got you.
It did. It was. I'll give Justin Evans a lot of credit. That's not 30 minutes on a dais or however you say it, dais.
Amadeus.
30 minutes up front like that was a pretty big deal. I don't think he would have done that a couple of years ago, but he handled it well.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, Bruns, talk to you later.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Michael Bruns, Husker 24/7. Justin Evans also responsible for the newsworthy quote out of the chatterous quote out of the Big Ten broadcast, BTN broadcast, which was that Anthony Calandria is a breath of fresh air. The rest of everything was all either coach speak or not important. That was like, oh, wow. Okay. All right. Nice. That's a little insight.
Yeah.
That's a little insight into it. By the way, Big Ten did you know this? Big Ten Volleyball Media Days is going on right now.
Lincoln Arneal's very busy.
Meanwhile, Joey's watching the dudes on ESPN who he hates talk about the Bears and all these different things. Joey, why don't we flip it over to the BTN and see what's going on Big Ten Volleyball Media Days?
Do that.
I assume Danny Busboom Kelly will be front and center at some point. So we'll keep you updated on that. Let's see who's up there right now. Yep. Or if we even get the channel.
This is incredible.
Maybe it just doesn't work.
That was a long pause.
It was a long time to not have anything on the TV. All right, we'll take a break. We have accountability and a couple other things to get as we get you out of here on a Monday. Next on 1620 The Zone. Here's a comment from Hookie Skur on YouTube. I went to the Royals-Rockies game on Saturday, and the Royals are a flaming hot pile of garbage.
They're terrible.
They are. I can confirm that. They got complete gamed by Kyle Freeland. First of his career. Did I mention he pitches for the Rockies?
Who's that huge guy?
Complete game.
I was
They have guys who I've never heard of in their starting lineup. Like I watch them every day, and I haven't heard of them.
Who was it?
In the Royals, there's a guy who I can't remember his name.
Shohei Ohtani.
Not him. No.
You would know him, I'm pretty sure.
They've had this guy named Josh Rojas in their lineup for weeks
Oh, yeah,
now.
former Diamondbacks guy. He started the year with the Storm Chasers.
But that's not that's him. But there's another guy who I've heard of even less, and he's in their starting lineup.
Is it Abraham Toro?
It could be Abraham Toro. He's a Storm
He was my
Chaser.
man of the weekend when he hit for the cycle
Yes.
for the Storm Chasers.
Yes, that is true.
I want to know who these people are.
You gotta look at their roster. It's
I was quite proud. I didn't throw Seth Lugo in Coors Field unlike the real Royals. I was like, I'm in control of this. You're on my bench.
They have they had the ability to trade any or all of Michael Wacha, Seth Lugo, and others, and they were like, actually, no, we're just going to trade away the rental guys, and we're going to think that Seth Lugo, who nonstop gives up home runs, is going to be a part of a contending team next year with the exact same roster, basically.
Who is John
Disaster.
Rave?
John Rave. That's another guy. I know John Rave because he's been an Omaha Storm Chaser for a couple of years.
That one I don't know at all.
John Rave is a good one. They
I
got
know-
guys wearing number 47 and
Otherwise,
62.
I know everyone else other than John Rave that played yesterday.
Okay, that's good.
Aaron Bummer did not have a good. Things have not gone well for him since he joined the Royals. It appears.
Sorry.
Well, that was his first appearance. 4 hits, 3 runs.
Good text
A
from
bummer.
the 402. Can we get Ben North in there? Yeah, just bring up Ben North. He is on the Royals.
Ben North could he be a 5th-year guy? Could he just go back to Creighton?
Because
that'd be a good deal for Mark Kingston.
Was he a fit? I think he was a 5-year guy.
Okay, so he'd already like redshirted or
I'd say
something.
22, 23, 24, 25, 26. I think his first year I think he had a couple at bats in 22 or something. There was something where
He was a freshman in 22, so that
22, 23,
and then he
24, 25,
redshirted
26. That's 5 already.
23.
Yeah,
Yep.
nope, he's
So
out.
he's out.
Sorry. But maybe he could go play for the Royals. Luke Maley had an RBI, as Black Cat said yesterday. It's very good. The Royals are just, it's
That's your backup catcher, maybe?
backup, I guess.
Yeah.
I saw MJ Melendez got DFA'd. Maybe just go back and bring him back.
Oh, poor MJ Melendez. I thought there was something there.
Oh, everyone did when he hit like 40 home runs
Right.
in the minor leagues that one year, but then did not hit it all in the major leagues. All right, let's finish out the show with a little.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for accountability.
All right, what would you like to be accountable for today?
Well, I caught it, but I basically said listeners when I meant listeners, and I was about to say listeners and linners instead of listeners and winners.
That's pretty funny though.
But that's
thank you
one
for
of them.
taking accountability.
That's one of them that stood out. Otherwise, I about on that last segment talked into the microphone before I turned the mic on, but I got there.
You
so we're
didn't?
good.
Nice.
Good job with that.
Yeah, that's the bulk of it that I can think of.
Okay, Joey.
Well, earlier in the show when I was talking about Zach Bakobeweli, I mentioned he is a right taco, not right tackle.
That is true. I forgot about
right taco and
Right
left shark.
taco.
I really want that imagery now.
Then also over the weekend, I kind of bought into some claims that Brad Stevens was reaching out to the Golden State Warriors regarding Stephen Curry.
Oh no! Did you get swept up in burners?
No,
Did you get?
some burner just did not get like what this beat writer was kind of saying that they could potentially do something. The burner was thinking this was something that was happening. Brad was already
They aggregated some information incorrectly.
Yeah.
Something that happens all the time. Bill Simmons is on a crusade against the the people who are aggregating his stuff incorrectly these days.
Yeah, I
They're like,
did
Bill
notice
Simmons
that.
is saying this
He's
stuff.
mad
and Bill
about the
Simmons like,
76ers
I
stuff.
did not say that. Stop saying I said that.
Then I'm already looking in hypothetical trades for Stephen Curry that includes Paul George, that moldy ham sandwich I would like to compare him to, and then that random guy named Hugo Gonzalez.
Wait. What? The Celtics are trying to get Steph Curry? What just happened?
I'm seeing people post out their trade scenarios in response to the whole Stephen Curry Celtics thing.
Oh, is that Is there a Steph Curry Celtics thing?
No, there's not. But some guy
they would have to give up Hugo and probably Baylor Shireman too, which they can't do.
They could get rid of Paul George. I'm fine with getting rid of Paul George. Send him over to Warriors.
You can't
Nothing
just
says
ditch Paul
Steph
George
Curry
to
like
get
trading
Steph Curry.
Paul George, a man that you just referred to as a moldy ham sandwich.
That's not how it works, Joey. You'd have to give up something of value.
Well, that's where does Hugo? Is he the value here?
Apparently.
Yes, he is.
Hugo for Steph Curry straight up. Would you say yes?
I would say yes.
Oh,
throwing Sam Hauser.
So you
into
want
that mix.
Steph Curry of it?
Throwing Sam Hauser, former Marquette.
You just didn't like Giannis.
I did not want him.
So
at the time, the circumstance changed now because Jaylen Brown's already traded. We need someone.
You can't go back in time, Joey.
I know.
Unfortunately, you can't.
That's what they tell us.
So over the weekend, I spent some time at one of my favorite establishments, Gary Dolphin's Bar in Dubuque. So they got this deal at Gary Dolphin's Bar where it's like a 10-gallon bucket. Okay, it looks like a 10-gallon bucket. You fill up the 10-gallon bucket. If they fill up the 10-gallon bucket with 14 beers.
Yep.
14 beers. And it costs $32. I couldn't stop buying the buckets. I wanted to buy a bucket for everybody in the entire bar and start
It's
just
like
tossing them out.
$2.30 a beer.
It's the most incredible deal I've ever seen. I couldn't, but the buckets were like yellow and they had like an Iowa sticker on them and stuff like this. Very Iowa flavored situation that I was into over the weekend. But I just wanted to be accountable for really wanting to buy these buckets because of how good of a deal it was. Like, those things where you don't need it, but it's such a good deal and it's hard to pass it up. I wanted to do that like 6 times with these buckets.
That's like anytime I'm at Costco. It's like there's just buys that I make that aren't planned ones, or just the Costco, the deal's too good.
It's like I saw it. I'm like, I have to have this. There's no way I could pass this
We
up.
don't need it. I don't need 14 things of ketchup, but
Did I need 14 beers? No.
There we go.
Did I need 14 beers multiple times? No. And did I leave some beers at the bar after I left because of my over purchasing of beers from the buckets?
Did you try to give them to other patrons of the bar?
I was just handing them. Anybody was like, I was like, hey, nice to meet you. Do you want a beer?
That's an incredibly good price
think
for
about
14
that.
beers.
It's like almost 30 beers for basically $60.
Wow.
So I wanted to be accountable for that this weekend and for my gambling losses and all those other things. But summer's over now. Fun time's over. We're getting ready for football.
You're locking in.
I'm absolutely locking in. That's our accountability today, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you joining us on the show. If you miss anything, of course, you can find it all at 1620thezone.com. And the crossover with Matt is coming up next.